I know I should have started this day first. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom.
I feel it's time to get right with the message. I feel inclined to change the thoughts in our youth perception. Like a mosquito, these nations been trying to suck us dry. With trespassers against us, we wait to penalize. I feel indebted to go out and try to teach the message. I'm still facing decisions disguised as salt and pepper. You take it lightly, but faced with the high blood pressure, you need a break from yourself, and you promise to get it. These kids wild, but I'm looking like who else is gonna teach them? Father's been gone, you know the women never need him. Reached to the children, but he couldn't reconnect from prison. Fear for his children, so the judge gave him a life sentence. I mean, who else got a story? I'm giving God the glory. I keep a hold to the law. The only thing important, I trust never be disconnected like cell connection. You quote a whole bunch of scriptures, but didn't understand them. I pray if anything, I do it for edification and bring you back to the truth. We try and build a nation. We've been destroyed, but you see God been doing renovation. Musical chairs, I'm praying I don't get eliminated. Yeah, what up, Mike? Temptation is hard in itself. I hit the captain asking for advice, I need the help. Polarizing these scriptures, I'm taking mental pictures. They never see your battles inside, only see your image. Don't get it twisted, I ain't complaining about the cards I'm giving. We go through things sometimes to be somebody else's blessing. The hardest thing in life was trying to be a people pleaser. You never there for yourself, but you there when they need you. Keep my composure, I'm learning, it's an art in itself. Sometimes the smallest of the habits, the hardest to kill. Better days, how I ride now, I'm reminiscing. Well, Moses gave us commandments, but we ain't wanna listen. Yeah, sometimes I question if I'm in the faith. Cause y'all ain't see them evil thoughts that I had yesterday. Yeah, sometimes I question if I'm in the faith. Please don't let me drown. Yeah, yeah. Please don't let me drown. Yeah, yeah. Please don't let me drown. You know it's hard when you got to keep your head above water. You start your own business hoping that your folks support you. You niggas slaves and you ain't built to run no brick and mortar. The white man make it hella hard to get that kick started. Yeah. You make it hard to get that kick started. Yeah. Try to tell us we're slaves. You cannot be no ready. Please don't let me drown. Yeah, yeah. Please don't let me drown. Yeah, yeah. Please don't let me drown.
Shabbat shalom, Facebook fam. Shabbat shalom to all my peoples out on YouTube. Tonight we're on to YouTube week 8 of the transformation of the so-called black man, of the so-called African American man. Tonight we're going to give all praise to Ahaya Hashem Yeshaya, Royal Walk. And for those of you not familiar with the Hebrew, that is all praise unto the Most High in the name of Christ as well as the Holy Spirit. Once again, we'd like to welcome each and every one of you to week 8 of the transformation of the so-called black man, of the so-called African American man who's from the tribe of Judah, from the nation of Israel. We'd like to thank each and every one of you taking time out of your busy schedule. We know that you could have been anywhere in the world, so due to the fact that you took time to join us tonight, we do not take your time for granted. We pray all that you have had a blessed week so far. We pray that for those who have been honoring and celebrating the Feast of Unleavened Bread this week, that you have taken the time to do some, as we call, internal spring cleaning. You understand? For those who are not aware of the feast days, we just pray that the Most High has been with you. Pray that all is well with you and your families. And just thank the Most High that you was able to join us here tonight. For this last day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the Most High has entrusted us with a powerful message, and I pray that you guys be with us throughout this lesson tonight. It is one that I pray that will invoke some thought, will do some self-examination, and will give us an opportunity to look within ourselves of what the Most High wants us to do and who He wants us to be. You understand? But before we get into the lesson tonight, I got a couple of things that I need to address quickly before we get into tonight's lesson. For those in the North Carolina, Charlotte area, for North Carolina, Charlotte, specifically the Charlotte area, you know, this has indeed been a rough week for our people. So I wanted to bring this out tonight. On, I think it was Sunday or Monday, we had a young man who was shot by the police. And then on last night, we had one of our beautiful daughters of Zion lose her life senselessly as she was on her way to nursery school, leaving behind 2 children and a family that loves her dearly. I want to address these things tonight because, you know, a lot of times we don't like to focus on the things that are going on in the news and you know, all these things that are on social media, but this is something that we need to discuss as a people because we get tired of the Gentiles and everybody else weighing in on our problems. You understand? But when it comes to issues at home, we kind of, you know, some of our people like to put these things out on social media, some for attention, some for awareness, whatever the case may be. But tonight I want to mention these things because it goes right along with what we're talking about here tonight. You understand? Now, Monday, when the police killed the man, and there's been some questions about whether he had a gun on him or not, or whether he had a gun at the time of him being shot. A lot of speculations and questions, different 911 calls, whatever the case may be. We had the public, our people, in an uproar. All different organizations and groups rushing down to Burger King, standing out, protesting, going up and down Beatty's Forest. You understand? Everybody screaming no justice, no peace. Everybody blanking on social media. You understand? But one thing that I didn't hear was the people holding this man accountable for coming to Burger King, Shabbat Shalom, Ms. Cox, and to jumping on this girl. I didn't hear anybody mention that. The only thing we was talking about was another policeman done shot another of our people. But nobody was talking about the fact that this brother came to Burger King and jumped on one of our women, one of our sisters. So everybody's screaming, you know, Black Lives Matter, but did that young girl that he came there to jump on, did her life matter? You understand? Did the workers in Burger King, did their life matter? Did the customers that came there, did their life matter? Because we see this, like I said, this beautiful daughter of Zion, this mother, lost her life yesterday senseless, just driving down the road. That could have been another sister or another brother going to the Burger King, getting something to eat, and being killed senseless over some madness. You understand? Now, another, like I said, this woman lost her life because some of our young men are having a shootout in broad daylight. With no honor for the people that are driving by, with no thought for who could be killed or injured in the process of this. You understand? And so I'm sick and tired of Israel always looking out at everybody else, but now looking at ourselves and holding ourselves accountable. You understand? It's time out for this madness. And we got to start, we as the leaders, got to start holding each other accountable. Why is it that we're so much in an uproar if a police shoot us, but nobody cares or nobody says anything when we kill ourselves? Do Black lives only matter when the police is the one on the other end of the gun? You understand? And then I seen where some churches around in Charlotte area was trying to hold, you know, a group meeting, and it was some people in there talking reckless, and they had somebody in the background said "F Jesus" in the church. You understand? There was a point in time when you wouldn't cuss at all at a church. You wouldn't cuss on the grounds of a church, riding past a church. But yet I'm hearing our people in the church in there with cameras in there and phones out saying, F Jesus. You understand? For the whole world to see. Who's holding that person accountable? So the bottom line is this, ladies and gentlemen, because we can stand on this soapbox all night long. We got to get into the truth tonight, but tonight, listen, we got to do this thing ourselves. It's time out for us to looking around and blaming the Christian church, blaming the government, blaming the white man, blaming the police. It's time for us to put all that stuff to the side of who have failed us and know that it's time for us to walk with the Most High. And let me say this quickly to the people who saying that, you know, they don't care about the Christian church and the Bible and Jesus or whatever the case may be. Listen, the failures of the Christian church have nothing to do with the Most High. Wicked and evil pastors and wicked and evil Christians have nothing to do with the Most High. I'm tired of Israelites using everything for an example to not do what you need to be doing. I'm tired of our own people, whether you want to consider yourself an Israelite or not, looking around, pointing fingers at everybody else. Tonight, I really want us to get into a mindset of self-examination. Like I said, for those who are honoring this and celebrating the Feast of Unleavened Bread, for those, you may not even know what that means. But I need us to take that time to look at the man in the mirror tonight and say, what can we do to be better? How can I be a better man? How can I be a better woman? How can I be a better father? How can I be a better mother? Can I be a better brother, brother, sister, better friend, better co-worker? Whatever it is that you do, whatever titles that you wear, tonight I want you to ask yourself, what can I do to be better? You understand? And you know we don't ever be talking about this sharing this video, but tonight I want you to, we're specifically asking tonight, I'm asking everybody on to like and share this video, put it out there for the people, do a watch party, invite the people from your friend list, invite your leaders, invite your parents, teachers, whoever it is. I want them all on here tonight. Those that's with us every Sabbath, no, we don't care less if it's 2 people on here. We're going to bring it out. But tonight, I'm specifically asking for everybody to like and share this video right now. Do a watch party and bring your people on tonight. Most High's giving us a word tonight for the people. You understand? Now, some good news. Next week, we will be doing our first congregational meeting at a Better Day Ministries and Judah Culture. We're going to be doing our first very Sabbath lesson congregational meeting outside the feast days. We've been talking about it. The Most High has been, bringing this to pass, and now it's time to actually start the church. And we're starting our first church in Monroe, North Carolina. And we're looking at things to do in Anson. We're looking at things to do in Charlotte area. We're looking at things to do in Winston. Got some things popping in other states. But right now it's time to get started here and get on the ground and get it going. So for any of those who would like to congregate with us next Sabbath, we're going to be doing this next Saturday at 12 p.m. It's going to be at 2303 Brook Street, Monroe, North Carolina, and the place is called Sutton Park Center. And the last link that we put in there is the link to the event page. We would love for you guys to go in and to RSVP, because we will be having some food there, some refreshments, whatever the case may be. You understand? Once again, that address is 2303 Brook Street, Monroe, North Carolina. And that name of that venue is Sutton Park Center, and it's in Monroe, North Carolina. And please, if you're going to attend, please go in and to the event page and click going and get this thing out to the people. We're going to do what thus says the Most High. We're really excited about it. You understand? The top 2 links in there are the lesson that we did for the New Year message and the lesson that we did last Sunday for the Feast of Unleavened Bread. I would love for you guys to take a chance to get the opportunity to take that in as well. But we're really excited about that, and we just thank the Most High for what He's doing and what He's going to do continue to do in our lives. Now, let's get into the truth. Tonight's lesson is entitled, Defeating the Enemy Within. Defeating the Enemy Within. Now, let's go to Amos, the 9th chapter. I need you to hold that and get Ezekiel 33. Amos, the 9th chapter. I need you to hold that and get Ezekiel 33. Now, a lot of our people, whether they be, in the church, outside the church, to those who understand that they're not black, that they're not African American, that they're from the tribe of Judah for the nation of Israel, whatever the case may be, many of our people cannot address the enemy within. We're talking about within ourselves. It's because we're so focused on the perceived enemy without. Everybody want to make the so-called white man their enemy. They want to make the American government their enemy. They want to make the police their enemy. They want to make other members of our communities their enemy. They want to make the Gentiles their enemy. Whatever the case may be. Everybody's talking about who else is against us, but we're not really focused on ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We can go back through history. We got a detailed history of what the so-called white man has done to us, what other Gentiles have done to us. We got a detailed history of what this country, what do they call America, has done to us. We can go and put up all what the Gentiles have done, what everybody else is doing. But the thing that we continue to hold ourselves responsible and accountable for is what we're doing to ourselves. And as I said, on Monday, when the brother went up there and attacked a girl at her job, I didn't see no organizations. I didn't see no men out there talking about domestic violence against our women. I didn't see no men out there holding this guy accountable for breaking the law, statutes and commandments. I didn't hear nobody saying this man was wrong for coming to this establishment. All I heard was the police didn't have to kill him. And I agree with that. Don't get me wrong. But if we're following law, statute, and commandments, we're not even in those situations. That doesn't happen. And I'm specifically talking to my brothers out here because it's amazing to me that we do wrong by our women, and then when they want to leave us, you feel as if now the only option to do is to attack her or to go fight another dude. You understand? I ain't never spent no time worrying about another dude coming for my woman. You understand? I ain't lost no sleep over another dude, right? And when a woman said she was done, that's it. Peace. But that shows how you look at yourself. When your only other option, your response is, I want to go fight a woman. You don't get no G pass for that. No G passes. You understand? No G passes. It's time out for G passes. You understand? They got them brothers out there shooting at these people, shooting at each other for nothing. I can guarantee you nothing. Nothing. And this young lady's dead. For nothing. Where's the uproar now? Where's the protest? Where's Black Lives Matter? Where's Jesse Jackson? Where's Al Sharpton at now? You understand? Where are they now? I ain't seen none of them out there. All these people that screaming out there up there on Beatty Ford money, I didn't see none of them out there last night. When that family is falling on the ground, crying when their daughter on the way to nursing school is dead. Where were they then? Does her life not matter? Everybody talk about the white man, but at the majority of the time when our people are dead, we on the other end of the gun. When somebody died over drugs, they bought it from a black man. When your house get broken into, it's by a black man. It's time to start talking about ourselves. Because I guarantee you, the Most High ain't bringing up no other person when it gets time for the judgment. He's bringing up us. You understand? Now, let's go to Amos, the 9th chapter. For those just coming on with us tonight, lesson is entitled, Defeating the Enemy Within. Amos, the 9th chapter. And let's hold that and get Ezekiel 33. Amos, the 9th chapter, let's bring it out. Verse 8.
Behold, the eyes of the Lord God are upon the sinful kingdom. And I will destroy it from off the face of the earth.
Read that again.
And I will destroy it from off the
Now start from the beginning.
Behold, the eyes of the Lord God are upon the sinful kingdom.
Now, see, ladies and gentlemen, see, we sitting around here spending all this time talking about America this, Babylon that. Listen, all day long, we talking about this, Trump this, the Congress this, the Postly this, all the Attorney General this. Read it again.
Behold, the eyes of the Lord are upon the sinful
You ain't got to put the Most High on. He knows what's going on in America. Okay? He's clearly aware. But not only, ladies and gentlemen, is he aware of what's going on in this country, he's aware of what's going on in our house. He's aware of what's going on in our communities. He's also aware of what's going on in our hearts. So we need to let the Most High be the Most High, and we need to be the servants. We need to be the sons and the daughters and get in our place. Every day, the majority of the Israelites that I see on Facebook ain't got no conversation about nobody else, nothing about themselves, but about everybody else who's wrong. Read it again.
Behold, the eyes of the Lord are upon the sinful kingdom. And I will destroy it from off the face of the earth.
Now he's going to make America great again.
I will destroy it from off the face of the earth.
Now he's going to give him grace.
I will destroy it from off the face of the earth. Saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob.
He said what?
Saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob.
Now Black Lives Matter.
Saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob.
That's the ones he's not going to destroy. The house of Jacob. You want to be black? You counting in the mix. You want to be a Puerto Rican? You counting in the mix. You want to be a thug? You counting in the mix. You want to be an African American? You're counting in the mix. Read it again.
Behold, the eyes of the Lord are upon the sinful kingdom. And I will destroy it from off the face of the earth.
That's right.
Saving that I will not only destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord.
Saith the Most High. Go ahead, verse 9.
Below I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like a corn is sifted in a sheaf. Yet shall not the least grain fall from the earth.
See, ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at the news every night, and you're wondering, why is there so much pain? Why is there so much inner turmoil? Why is all these countries in a war and they're falling apart? The economies are falling apart. People are starving. Earthquakes, famines, tornadoes. The weather is out of whack. Read it again.
Below I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like a corn is shifted in a sheaf. Now,
you got to understand that what is happening amongst this world is whether the Christian church want to admit it or not, America is bringing every Gentile nation down. Every one of them. Because every one of them have benefited and profited and prospered off of the back of the children of Israel. Every one of them. But what was that last part, Deke?
Yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth.
Let not the least grain, the ones that are with the Most High, we will not be destroyed. But, verse 10.
All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword.
Read that again.
All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword.
Read that again.
All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword.
And what are they saying, Deke?
Which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us.
No, Jesus got us. Read it again.
The evil shall not overtake nor prevent us.
No, we got money in the bank.
The evil shall not overtake nor prevent us.
No, man, America's going to be great again.
The evil shall not overtake nor prevent us.
Now start back from the verse 10 and read it again.
All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword.
Now go to 1 John 3 and 4. The sinners of my people, the ones that's running around the Christian church every Sunday thinking they straight, thinking grace got them covered. Say, I'm good. The blood of Jesus is going to block it. We're going to pray America back great again. Read it again. 1 John 3 and 4.
Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law.
He said what?
Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law.
Uh-huh.
For sin is a transgression of the law.
For sin is the transgression of the law. Amos 3, verse 1. Watch this.
Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel.
Oh, who?
O children of Israel.
Uh-huh.
Against the whole family which I have brought up from the land of Egypt.
Uh-huh.
You only have I known of all the families of the earth.
Now the Most High did with everybody.
You only have I known of all the families of the earth.
Uh-huh.
Therefore I will punish you.
I will punish who?
I will punish you.
Now I'm punish the Gentiles.
I will punish you for all your iniquities.
You see that? So you keep letting the so-called white man, keep letting these Christian pastors tell you ain't got to follow the law. Back to Amos 9 and 10. Read it again.
All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword.
And why are they going to die by the sword?
Which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us.
You see that? You keep letting them lie to you. You keep letting them gas you up. You're going to die by the sword in this country, along with all the rest of the Gentiles that are against us. Now, for my Gentile brothers and sisters who are with us, Dick, let's get Isaiah 14 and 1. Get Isaiah 14, no, matter of fact, get Isaiah 56. You know the verse in there, right? Isaiah 56 for my Gentile brothers and sisters. That's Isaiah 14 and 1. I think it's 8 and 9, Isaiah 56. Also the stranger. Or is it 6? Verse 6. Okay. Isaiah 56, verse 6. It's for my Gentile brothers and sisters.
Also, the sons of the stranger that join themselves to the Lord, to serve him, to love the name of the Lord, to be his servants, everyone that keepeth the Sabbath.
See what?
Keepeth the Sabbath from polluting.
So that means, my Gentile brothers and sisters, when you join yourself to Israel and to the Most High, you love the name of the Most High, which is a higher. You find in Ezekiel 13, verse 4, Ezekiel 3, verse 13 through 15, and you keep his Sabbath. That means you denounce Sunday worship. You come to the Sabbath, Friday sundown, Saturday sundown. Also, you keep his holy days, Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, First Fruits, Tabernacle, Days of Trumpet, Day of Atonement. You understand? And you denounce Christmas. You denounce Easter. You denounce Thanksgiving. And you do what?
Keepeth the Sabbath from polluting.
Right.
And take a hold of my covenant.
And take hold of what?
Take a hold of my covenant.
Uh-huh.
Even then will I bring to my holy mountain.
Right.
And make them joyful in my house of prayer.
You see that? Go ahead.
Their burnt offerings and their sacrifice shall be accepted upon mine altar.
Mm-hmm.
For my house shall be called a house of prayer for all people.
For who?
For all people.
For who?
For all people.
Now that's it. That's the requirement of the Gentiles. And then give them Isaiah 14, 1 and 2. So we can make this clear. Yeah, Isaiah 14, 1 and 2.
For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob.
He gonna do what?
For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob.
No, he gonna have mercy on the Christians,
Have mercy on Jacob.
on the Kojics,
Mercy on Jacob.
on the Catholics.
Will have mercy on Jacob.
No, it's the Jewish people.
Will have mercy on Jacob.
Uh-huh.
And will yet choose Israel.
No, he's gonna choose the Jewish people,
Choose Israel.
the Christians,
Choose
the
Israel.
Protestants,
Choose Israel.
the Americans.
Israel.
Uh-huh.
And set them in their own land.
Right?
And the strangers shall be joined with them.
That's the Gentiles.
And shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
They must cleave to the house of Jacob.
And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids.
You see that? So I just want to make that clear. Now, let's go to Ezekiel 33. Ezekiel 33. Tonight's lesson is entitled Defeating the Enemy Within. Now, this is for my brothers and sisters out here who have felt as if that you've done enough, done too much, I would say, and that there's no hope for you, that the Most High is never going to forgive you, that he's mad with you, and that he don't want you back. Ezekiel 33, D. Let's start at verse 11.
Say unto them, as I live, saith the Lord God, I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked.
Read that again.
Say unto them, as I live, saith the Lord God, I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked.
The Most High says, I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked. But what is his pleasure?
But that the wicked turn from his way and live. Turn ye from your evil ways. But why will you die, O house of Israel?
Why will you die, O house of Israel? We done suffered in this country and in our captivities for so long. We spending all this time talking about why we keep dying in the streets, why we poor, why we don't got this, why we don't got that. But the Most High's hand is extended to you and I, saying, come back to me. I don't take no pleasure, says the Most High, in the death of the wicked. But ladies and gentlemen, whether you be in the church or outside of the church, you're going to have to acknowledge the fact to the Most High that you are wicked and evil. I don't care how much time you spent in the Christian church. I don't care how much money, how much tithes you done paid. If you're breaking the law, statute, commandments of the Most High and keeping pagan holidays, in the eyes of the Most High, you are wicked and evil. Straight up. This is not based on how I feel about you, how Deacon feels about you, how any Israelite feel about you. This is the Most High. You have to accept that. That Christianity is a lie from the pits of hell. And the standards of what they were giving us in that Christian church is not the standard of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So read it again for him, Deke. He says what?
Say unto them, as I live, saith the Lord God,
Mm-hmm.
I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked.
I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked.
But the wicked turn from his way and live.
Uh-huh.
Turn ye from your evil way.
Right.
For why will you die, O house of Israel?
Right.
Therefore, thou son of man, say unto the children of thy people, the righteousness of the righteous shall not deliver him in the day of his transgression. As for the wickedness of the wicked, he shall not fall thereby in the day that he turneth from his wickedness.
Right.
Neither shall the righteous be able to live for his righteousness in the day that he sinned.
Now, this is very specifically why I'm bringing this verse out here. Because you hear a lot of times, especially at funerals, when people die, you hear somebody say, you know, he received Christ at an early age in his youth. Right? They won't talk about what he was living for the last 50 years. They're not going to tell you what she was doing on the point of her death. They're going to tell you about something that they told them to do when they were 12 and 13 in the church when they had no idea what they were doing. And then a lot of times what we do, and to make ourselves feel better, we'll get up there and we'll talk about, yeah, I tell you, boy, they'll give you the shirt off her back, but they don't tell you that they actually took the shirt from somebody else. Or they robbed others in order to buy the shirt in the first place. Man, I tell you, boy, they'll feed the whole neighborhood, but they don't tell you the fact that they were selling dope. That's how they got the money to feed the whole neighborhood. Or I tell you, boy, there ain't nothing that she won't do for her kids, but they won't tell you that she got 6 kids by 7 baby daddies. Boy, I'm telling you, man, he's a man's man. I'm telling you, he always took care of his children. He got children by 15 different women. You understand? So we can put all of these different things on it and make it seem as if it's cool to appease ourselves. Because one of the reasons we're doing these things at these funerals is to make ourselves feel good because we know the life that we're living. You understand? So we don't want to acknowledge it. We don't want to acknowledge what somebody else sins, and we shouldn't be. So as long as we can go on and say, yeah, you know, hey, the good deeds of a man outweigh his bad, I ain't seen that verse yet. That's Malcolm X. That's the movie Malcolm X. That's not the Bible. You understand? So we especially with these preachers, they say, well, yeah, you know, he passes down there for 30 years. Yeah, but he got a baby out of every church that he went and pastored at. He was cruel and wicked to his ministers up under him. He robbed them for money and did everything. But and those who are trying to bring up righteous acts in your day of your transgression, it's not going to matter. But at the same time, the good news is that if the wicked man turns away from his wickedness and comes back to the Most High, then his wickedness will not be brought up as well. So it worked both ways. Watch this, Deep. What we at, Deep? Verse what? Verse 15? 13, Salaki 13.
When I shall say to the righteous that he shall surely live if he trusts in his own righteousness. If he trusts in his own righteousness and commit iniquity, all his righteousness shall not be remembered.
So he said, listen, when I tell the righteous the man, because he's doing all good, he's straight, he been living, he be rocking out, he been keeping my law, he been following the statutes, and I tell him, hey, you gonna live, you going in. If he begins to trust in his own righteousness and turn down in the day of his transgressions, I don't want to hear about what you did yesterday. You understand? It's just like telling a woman you were faithful for the first 5 years of your marriage and you cheated for 15, but you want to bring up when she get ready to walk out the door. Well, what about those 5 years I was faithful? But what about the 15 years that you cheated on me and lied to me, brought me STDs and got 2 women in the neighborhood pregnant? Don't talk to me about the 5 years of faithfulness. And see, I heard people say this before when talking about men in relationships, said they're only faithful if their resources and their availability allowed them to. There's their money on. They would say stuff like, you know, he don't got no money, he ain't got no resources, he don't got availability to cheat. So that's why they're faithful. That's true for some guys, but I don't think that's true as a whole. But I do dare say that it's true with the Most High. Because most people are only faithful to the Most High when they believe they need something from the Most High, and when they don't have the access to do all the things that they really want to do. Like, it perplexes me when I hear people talking about they love the Most High, but they're planning trips to Las Vegas. Like, I laugh at that every time. I'm like, so you going where? To Sin City. To Sin City. So, right? Yeah, me and the boy, we're going to take a trip to Sin City. And to do what? Do some street preaching? Oh, no. Hey, yeah, man, yeah. Me and some girls, like, we're gonna go down there to Miami, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna cut loose. Really. But see, that's what Christianity has done. That's what Christianity, that's the society that Christianity has created. Because once upon a time, when the standard was based on the Bible, the world was at bay with doing wrong because they had the so-called Christians as an example and as light of how to be and how not to be. Now those who go to church are living the same way, look the same way, they at the same clubs, popping the same bottles, they going in and out of the same strip clubs, they did the same movies, they at the same mall on the Sabbath, they're doing everything else that everybody else is doing, but they're going to church on Sunday. You understand? Watch this, verse 14.
Again, when I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, if he turn from his sin and do that which is lawful and right, if the wicked restore the pledge, give again that he had robbed, walk in the statutes of life without committing iniquity, he shall surely live, he shall not die.
So listen, I don't care what you've done up until this point. Tonight is your night. As I said earlier, as we end off this Feast of Unleavened Bread, tonight is the night when everything in your life can turn around. Stop talking about what everybody else done to you. Stop talking about what the people have said on you. Stop talking about the lies and listen to the truth of what the Most High is saying to you. But it's up to you to make that turn for the Most High, to make that turn for yourself, to make that turn for your children, to make that turn for your nation. Tonight's lesson is entitled, Defeating the Enemy Within. Now let's go to Matthew 23. I need you to hold that. For those who don't have an apocrypha, go ahead and bring out your separate tablet, laptop, or cell phone, whatever the case you may have. And I need you to go ahead and put those verses in there so they can go ahead and Google those things. I need you to keep that handy because it's going to be all up in that pocket for today. Yeah, you can put the first one in there too. So let's go ahead and put those in there too. All right. Okay. Let's go to Matthew 23. I need you to hold that and get 2nd Esdras, the 9th chapter. Matthew 23. I need you to hold that and get 2nd Esdras, the 9th chapter. Yeah, they can come in. We're going to put it in watch part too. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, I see it in there. Yeah, so. Matthew 23. I need you to hold that and get 2nd Esdras, the 9th chapter. So go ahead and grab your separate tablet, separate laptop, or your phone. Oh, you see the watch part of there? That is what. Yeah, the one with the most millions on it. Don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it. Yeah, you put it going in the watch party twice. 2nd Esdras 9. Esdras is Esdras. So when you Google that with 2, Esdras, Esdras, chapter 9, verse 13. But we're going to Matthew 23 first. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, man. Matthew 23. And Dick, let's start there at verse 13. I think it's kicking people out because I keep seeing the numbers go down and then come back up. So.
But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees.
You got to read a lot of that thing.
But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you shut the kingdom of heaven against men, for neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that are entering to go in.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm specifically talking to my brothers on the truth who know that you're not black and you're not African American. You better turn your swag down. Okay? I'm seeing all the time as if just because you have an understanding of who you are, you feel you have a right to tell somebody whether they're going to heaven or not. Constantly attacking and assaulting brothers and sisters who are still in the Christian church. Like, why is it that the bulk of your hatred and your attacks are on Christian brothers and sisters, but you ain't talking about the wicked and evil cats that's in the world? And I know what that is. I know exactly what that is. It's your own hatred for yourself. That's what it is. You see, one thing that our Christian brothers and sisters have that I've been noticing the last 2 years when I've been dealing directly with Israelites is that they have, what I've said, I put it like this, they value praise and worship. Where those majority of the people that's in the truth, what we call the truth, knowing who they are, they don't put no value on them. They don't put no value up in worship. They don't put no value on praising the Most High, singing to the Most High. So when you talk about our Christian brothers and sisters, they don't got no truth. You're talking about they singing, and that's why you see all these videos of them running around and dancing and all that. Well, yeah, they do that, but that ain't the churches that I fellowship with. Okay, so hey. I know people who prostrate themselves on their face and worshiping the Most High Spirit and truth. And these stone cold Israelites are not willing to do that. And that's really why most of you don't have that spirit of love of Christ on you. Because you're still edgy. You're still with you walking around with your fist balled up. Mad at Edom, mad at the world. But really you're mostly mad at yourself. Read it again, Dick. He says what?
Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites.
Hypocrites.
For you shut up the kingdom of heaven against men, for you neither go in yourselves.
Go ahead.
Neither suffer ye them that are entering to go in.
You spending all day telling people where they ain't going, and you ain't going either. You spending all day telling Gentiles that ain't going, and you ain't going either. You understand? There's a white man right now that's gonna put his Sunday best suit on in a couple of weeks and gonna be on the Easter service. You understand? He's gonna take his family on an Easter egg hunt. You understand? He's gonna come home and his wife is gonna put a fat ham on the table, and he has a better chance to getting into the kingdom than you do. You quote me on that. Okay? Because the reason why that brother is doing that, because he don't know no better. You claim you got the truth. Why you living reckless like you is? Why ain't nothing but venom and hate coming out your mouth? You claim you know Christ, but I don't see Christ nowhere in your life. Do you understand? Nothing but hatred. Nothing but anger, bitterness, all the time. Pain. Because I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, that there's some things, that root of those issues that are inside of us, that the only thing that's going to release those things is repentance and worship. So you're walking around pointing fingers at everybody else. You this, you eating that, you eating that. Listen, you may have put swine out of your life, but your whole mentality is swine. You may have took unclean food out of you, but your whole mentality and perception of the world is unclean and wicked. So you sit around telling white people that they ain't going, and you ain't going. You sit around here clowning Christian brothers and sisters, and you ain't going either. You understand? Verse 14.
Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye devour widows' houses, and for a pretense make long prayers. Therefore you shall receive the greater damnation.
And for you brothers, you so-called elders, you so-called with your precept game, manipulating our women and taking advantage of them, sounding deep, getting on with all your fringes and your robes and the tassels and stuff, and standing there looking like you somebody, and manipulating and devouring the women, taking advantage of their insecurities and their vulnerability. Just somebody can gas you up. You better be glad you're getting those likes. You better be glad that you're getting those pats on the back. You better be glad you're getting that round of applause, because that's it. That's it. All of you taking on these women, making these women do everything for you, man, washing your clothes, cooking your food, doing all of this, and you ain't giving them nothing but false hope and lies. You understand? Verse 16.
Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye compare sea and land to make one proselyte, and when he is made, you make him twofold more the child of hell than yourself.
And then what makes it even worse, not only is it bad enough that you live in a lie, then you go out here, you get these young folks who don't know no better, and got them gassed up, and you make them worse off than you. You understand? Every time I see them out on the corner, these young boys out in these corners, disrespecting the elders, disrespecting older pastors, disrespecting women, disrespecting Gentiles, I know as a teacher back standing there looking proud. when you done made another young boy wicked and more wicked and evil as you. I ain't want to put it out here, but my nieces and nephews last week at the Passover, they really made me so proud of them. They did a wonderful job in their presentations. Shouts out to Princess. She did a wonderful job. You understand? And I was really proud. I was really happy. But I'm gonna tell you something. The thing that marveled me the most was the conversation that happened afterwards. When they was coming up to me, showing me the Bible verses that they learned, they were seeing the verses that we were bringing out at the Passover. And my man Juice, shouts out to Young Juice, came up and showed me, yeah, man, I know what the verse is to show them that Christ is black. I just looked at him. So there you go. There you go. And then my little niece came to Jay and told Jay, hey, I'm about to take your job. I'm about to be able to read. We love to see that. But then there was other questions where they was asking us and saying, like, you know, are we supposed to love everybody else? Are we supposed to be kind to other people? What if they don't? Let me shout out to Juice. Just talk about you, Young Juice. Shabbat Shalom, little op. You understand? And they was like, what about people who celebrate other holidays? What about people who go to believe different than us? Are we supposed to love them? We supposed to treat them right? Now, what if I'd have told them, like, no, you know, don't love the white man. Anybody that ain't with you, you won't be with them. Because one of the things I've told them, which I tell you guys all the time, and I my nieces and nephews, I tell them the same. I don't want you quote and say my Uncle El said. I want you to be able to go to the Bible. But we have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that people are listening, they're watching. And if we want to be the vessel that the Most High used to bring and wake up our people, we need to be mindful of everything we do, everything we say, how we carry ourselves. You understand? That's why tonight's lesson is entitled, Defeating the Enemy Within. The enemy without is done. They have no idea. They're finished. Everybody that's against us, the Most High has already done spoke on them. They're done. The part of the story that's still being written is us. What are you going to do? Now let's go to 2 Esdras 9 so I can make this clear what I'm talking about here. 2 Esdras 9. This is the point that I really want to drive home here. Let's go to 2 Esdras 9. Watch this. 2 Esdras 9. And give them verse 13 there.
And therefore be thou not curious how the ungodly shall be punished. And when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved.
Read that again.
And therefore be not curious how the ungodly shall be punished. And when.
So he said, listen, be not curious and be concerned and put all of your attention on how those who are against the Most High going to be punished and when they're going to make it or when they're going to go to hell or when the fire and brimstone is coming. Don't be concerned with that. Like, listen, I am perplexed when I see people all the time with the majority of their efforts. It's not about bringing somebody in. It's about showing them about how bad off they are. And that's when I know they don't know Christ. Okay? And this is the reason why we're making these statements. We've changed our tone up of saying, are people in the truth? No, there's some people who know there's a fact that there is one. And then those are the truth of Christ. Let's bring that up. Let's make that even more stronger, my argument here more stronger. Let's give them Matthew 12 and 30. So I don't need to make this clear. Okay? Because we're talking about defeating the enemy within. Now, D, I'm going to read this again. Before you read this, I'm going to read what it says, 2 Esdras 9 and 13. And then I want you to read Matthew 12 and 30. And see if this not coincides with what I'm saying here. 2 Esdras 9 and 13 says, he says, and therefore be not curious how the ungodly shall be punished and when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, who the world is and for whom the world is created. That needs to be the concern. But look at what Christ says here in Matthew 12 and 30.
He that is not with me is against me.
Read that again.
He that is not with me is against
me.
He that gathereth not with me scattereth abroad.
So Christ said, Yeshua HaMashiach, who the world known to be Jesus Christ, said, if you're not gathering the people with me, you are against me. So there's only two sides of the road here, ladies and gentlemen. Either you with Yeshua or you're not. You can stop eating pork. You can wear fringes from head to toe. You can walk around looking holy and righteous. But if you're not doing the work of Christ, you're doomed. You understand? The real battle is us. This is what the Most High wants us to be focused on this last day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Is getting that leaven out of our lives. You understand? Now, let's go back and let me show you the urgency of this thing here. Let's go back one chapter in 2nd Esdras. I need you to hold that and get Isaiah, the 10th chapter. And I'm going to show you the urgency of this thing and why this is so important here. Because I'm telling you, Christianity is telling everybody that you're going to be safe, you're straight, and then in the world, every time somebody dies, everybody talking about some rest in heaven and rest in peace and rest in strength and everybody good and some people saying hell ain't real and God don't send nobody to hell and the hell is and I'm hearing Christian pastors nowadays telling that hell is something that man created. You understand? It's like everybody's talking this madness, but instead of saying what the Bible is saying here. You understand? And I'm going to show you now here the urgency of we need to have on a daily basis. 2nd Esdras, 8th chapter, give me verse 1 there.
And he answered me, saying, the Most High has made this world for many, but for the world to come, for few.
Read that again.
And he answered me, saying, the Most High has made this world for many.
So this world that we see, ladies and gentlemen, from the time of Adam, all the way up to what they call right now, what is it? March 29, 2019, whatever they're calling it now. The Most High has allowed many billions upon billions of people to live. But the world to come, when Yeshua HaMashiach brings that new Jerusalem down out of heaven, he has made that for few. For who? How many?
For few.
Only a few. That's why it says over in Matthew the 7th chapter that the road to hell is broad and wide. And you'll see many out there. But the road to the kingdom is narrow. And you'll see a few here and there. And he goes on to say, not everyone who calls say, Lord, Lord, shall make it into heaven. And as I said to the people on many occasions, what we have to realize is, ladies and gentlemen, that automatically excluded the people in the world. You understand? Because the people in the world ain't calling Yeshua HaMashiach, who the world knows to be Jesus Christ Lord. They ain't calling him that. Now, they might call him Savior. Yeah, he came to save the world, but they definitely ain't calling him Lord. So that means that is speaking to people who knew better, but refused to do better. And that means majority of those who are in the Christian church. You understand? Watch this. Read it again, Dick. He says what?
And he answered me, saying, the Most High has made this world for many.
The Most High made this world for many.
For the world to come for few.
Verse 2.
I will tell thee a similitude, Esdras, as when thou askest the earth, it shall say unto thee, that it giveth much mold, whereof earthen vessels are made. But little dust that gold cometh of.
So he said, listen, go ahead and read that last part.
Even so is the course of this present world.
So what he's saying here is this. When you look at the world as an entirety, as a whole, you got much clay and dirt in which you can make vessels, earthen vessels. Countless amount, right? But when you compare that to the amount of gold, far outnumbers that. And that gold, compared to the dirt, regular dirt, will be the world compared to those who go on with the Most High. You understand? Watch this, verse 3.
There'll be many created,
There have been many created,
but few shall be saved.
but few shall be saved. Tonight's lesson is entitled, Defeating the Enemy Within. Now let's go to Isaiah 10. Now let me make it even more clear here at Isaiah 10. Watch this. Isaiah the 10th chapter. And let's start there at verse 20. Isaiah 10, verse 20 through 22. Bring it out.
And it shall come to pass in that day when the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob.
Read that again.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but they shall stay upon the Lord, the Holy One of Israel, in truth.
Now, let me explain that. So the Most High is prophesying here. He's saying that remnant that's going to come out of Israel, that's going to escape out of the house of Jacob. The Most High is making it clear here, ladies and gentlemen, that all of his children ain't making it back. And what he's talking about escaping is what Jeremiah 30th chapter calls Jacob's trouble. He's talking about Babylon. He's talking about the captivities that we're in all over this world. Well, we have forgotten the ways of our fathers, and we have taken on the lifestyle of the Gentiles. And we have upheld the things of Christianity, and we have forsaken the things of what the Bible has said we're supposed to do. So he's saying that remnant is going to have to escape. You understand? So that means it's on work. Because like I said, ladies and gentlemen, listen, and we say this from week to week, and people think that we're being disrespectful. Last week, us, along with thousands upon thousands of others all over the world, celebrated the Passover. Some of our Israelite brothers tonight are starting to celebrate the Passover. They're going to go into the Feast of Unleavened Bread next week. Praise be to the Most High. Others of our people, even going to be celebrating along the time with the Jewish people next month. Praise be to the Most High. But as far as the numbers is concerned, you had more of our people the week before celebrating St. Patrick's Day than they did the Passover. You understand? And then those same people, plus many, many more, in a couple of weeks, will be celebrating Easter. And they will not, you cannot, at this current moment, you will not be able to tell them that they ain't straight. This week, you have seen the commercials begin with all the clothing stores, the department stores, selling the clothes for Easter. Did you see any of that when the Passover came the week before? I ain't see it. Yet, all of the major networks and all of these stores are owned by Jewish people. But you see, they never promote the holy days of the Bible. I wonder why. You understand? Read it again, Deacon. Isaiah 10 and 22. 20.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord, the Holy One of Israel, in truth.
So he said, listen, the remnant is going to come out of all the lies that the Gentiles have taught them. They're not going to be no longer concerned with any religion, whether it be Christianity, whether it be Islam, whether it be Catholicism, whether it be Hinduism, Buddhism, Jehovah's Witness, I don't care what it is. Conscious movement, Hotep, foolish, any foolishness that against the Most High, we will no longer be a part of it. But it's only going to be that remnant. And he said we must escape. You understand? Watch this. Verse 21.
The remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty God.
Right? Verse 22.
For through thy people Israel be as the sand.
No, but for though.
For though thy people Israel be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return.
Read that again.
For though thy people of Israel be as the sand of the sea,
Though we count as much as the sand of the sea,
yet a remnant of them shall return.
only a remnant is coming. I need you to just take a moment and just take that in. I just need you to just really consider that right there. The Most High saying that his children outnumber the sands of the sea on all the beaches of the world. But only a remnant shall return. No, Chanel, that's not true. The 144,000 out of the 12 tribes of Israel will be the martyrs and the leaders of the children of Israel. It's going to be countless more of that. Okay. That's Revelation 7. The martyrs of the 12,000 for the 12 tribes of Israel will be the ones who are going to be spreading the gospel in these latter days. So it just won't be 144,000. 144,000 will be those who will die for this. And they will be leaders in the kingdom with Shai. Okay, I want to make that clear. That's not the remnant. The remnant is going to be the ones who come in as a result of the work of the 144,000. You understand? Verse 22. Read it again, Dick. He says what?
For though thy people Israel be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return.
Right.
The consumption decreed shall overflow with righteousness.
You see that? So I need you to understand that you can't be going around here thinking you're safe. You can't get caught up in your own righteousness here. This is why tonight's lesson is entitled Defeating the Enemy Within Ourselves. Let's go to Romans 12, D. Romans the 12th chapter. I need you to hold that and get John 15. Romans the 12th chapter. I need you to hold that and get John the 15th chapter. Romans 12. It's like Romans 12. I need you to hold that and get John the 15th chapter. Tonight's lesson once again is entitled Defeating the Enemy Within. Romans 12, verse 1, D, bring that out.
I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service.
Which is what?
Your reasonable service.
Which is your reasonable service. Paul is saying to you, to the children of Israel, and I'm saying to my people tonight, I beseech you that you need to present yourself as a living sacrifice. You know, we was just talking, me and Jay was talking about when we first went on, and me and my girl was talking earlier today. We basically had the same conversation. We was talking about how it's just, before we was trying to get the yeast out, it used to be something. Now this week, hey, it's our reasonable service. You understand? It's our reasonable service. And so I'm going to put it out there for some of you right now who are just beginning to make these changes, and you're just now discovering that you're not black, that you're not African American. You understand? These things are going to seem tedious. It's going to seem difficult because it is. It's going to be hard for you to remove the madness from your life. But then once you begin to understand the purpose behind everything that you're doing, you're going to begin to see it as your reasonable service. You see, ladies and gentlemen, and like I said, I'm not talking about our Christian brothers and sisters and ridicule and judgment. I'm telling you really what it is, because me and him, amongst others, came out of the Christian church. The majority of the reason why our Christian brothers and sisters will never receive this truth about who they are, that they're not black, that they're not African American, that they're from the tribe of Judah, from the nation of Israel, is because Christianity makes life easy. There is no requirements. This is why you hear these pastors talk about people who follow the law, that they're under bondage, which now they don't even realize that they're the only ones that's in bondage. They're bondage to sin because they're coming up with every justification to not follow the truth. They give them Sirach 32 and 17 right quick. They're 32 and 19. Tell them what the hypocrite will say. Sirach 32 and 19. So I see it all the time, and I'm going to put it out there right now for to make it clear going forth. Don't tag me. Don't bring me into no social media debates, no conversations with Christians. I'm not having it because my conversation has nothing to do with Christian brothers and sisters. I ain't for my Christian brothers and sisters. My issue is with the doctrine of Christianity. I need to make that clear. I'm not arguing with no pastors. I'm not calling no pastors out. I'm not bringing them out. I'm not doing any of that. I want to make that clear. We don't do that here at Better Day Ministries. We don't debate. We don't argue. We don't single out. We don't call out. I don't have a problem with any Christian brother or sister, pastor, leader, minister, bishop at all. My problem is with the doctrine of Christianity because I know where it came from. But I'm going to tell you why these pastors and these Christians don't want to do it. Sirach 32 and 19. 15, Salaki.
He that seeketh the law shall be filled therewith.
Uh-huh.
But the hypocrite,
But the who?
But the hypocrite will be offended thereat.
They're going to be offended. Give me that one, verse 19, where it says make an excuse. 17, Sirach 32 and 17. Now, give me 15 again, then 17.
He that seeketh the law shall be filled therewith.
So the ones who are seeking the Most High's law and His truth, they shall be filled with that truth and that law. But what? But the hypocrite
will be offended thereat.
So that's when you bring that to them and tell them like, nah, man, you can't eat that, man. They're going to be what?
The hypocrite will be offended thereat.
No, you got to tell them like that, man, Sunday service is not at the Most High. They're going to be what?
The hypocrite will be offended thereat.
When you tell them Christ ain't rose on no Sunday, he died on the Passover. They're going to be what?
The hypocrite will be offended thereat.
That's why they're going to be mad, because that lets you know that they're not with the Most High. The only people that are going to be mad at the truth are people who are not with the Most High. They're the only ones. And I can back it up. Sirach 32 and 17.
A sinful man will not be reproved.
A sinful who?
A sinful man will not be reproved.
Uh-huh.
But find an excuse according to his will.
Nah, man, listen, man, the Sabbath was made for the man, not the man made for the Sabbath.
A sinful man will not be reproved, but find an excuse according to his will.
Nah, man, listen, man, God know my heart, man. He know when I go there on Sunday that it's about him.
A sinful man will not be reproved, but finds an excuse according to his will.
Man, for 2,000 years, man, we've been meeting in the church on Christmas and Easter and Thanksgiving. I know Jesus knows what we're doing.
A sinful man will not be reproved, but finds an excuse according to his will.
Listen, man, listen. You ain't gonna tell me when I pray over my pork that the Most High ain't gonna receive it because I prayed over it.
A sinful man will not be reproved, but find an excuse according to his will.
He's gonna find an excuse every time. And this is why many of you going to these, especially going to these pastors that gas you up every day, make you feel good, give you hope. You don't want to stand and hear this truth because it's cutting you up and you think you're taking it personal. You should take it personal when these pastors are lying to you. That's the one that should anger you. That these pastors don't love you enough to tell you the truth. They lie to you and take your money. We tell you the truth for free. You understand? Come on, man. I'm seeing my brothers and sisters on here that won't come on our lessons, won't come to our events. I see y'all running behind these other pastors, and I just be sitting back looking at my brothers and sisters, all on these lives, all in these videos, and I'm sitting there looking at them like. And then when the problems come, when your life is still falling apart, who do you have to come back to ultimately? The real ones. So why don't we just do it now? You understand? A person that loves you is going to tell you the truth because they want the best for your life. You understand? Now back in Romans 12. Romans 12, verse 1.
I beseech you, therefore, brethren.
I'm begging you guys to listen to me tonight.
By the mercies of God.
By the mercies of the Most High.
that you present your bodies a living sacrifice,
right?
holy,
Holy.
acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's our reasonable service. It's our reasonable service. And this, like I said, this is the reason why many of our Christian brothers are currently rejecting, and with some of them will never receive the truth, that they're not black, that they're not African American, that they're from the tribe of Judah, from the nation of Israel. Excuse me, because what comes along with that? Calling yourself a Christian, you can do anything, live any kind of way, go anywhere, listen to any type of music, watch any type of movie. You don't got to keep no holidays. You don't got to keep no Sabbaths. You can do whatever you want. But those of us know that we're with the Israelites, that we're with the Most High. We understand that there's a standard that he demands. And we must meet that standard. Why? Verse 2.
And be not conformed to this world.
So we cannot be conformed to this world.
But be ye transformed.
But we must be transformed. How?
By the renewing of your mind.
So that's, ladies and gentlemen, that's one of the things is that another block is for our Christian brothers and sisters is because they don't want to unlearn and relearn and be retaught. This Baptist doctrine carried me all the way. This Anzine doctrine, this Kojic doctrine, this the way I was raised, it done got me this far, and now it's gonna take me the rest of the way. No, it's not. The Most High uses the Christian church to get us back to Christ. Christ is gonna take us all the way to the Most High. But if you refuse to unlearn and be retaught, your mind will never be renewed. And you're going to still do the same thing, live the same way, and have the same problems, knowing you Israel. You understand? Read it again, Deacon. Says what?
Be not conformed to this world.
You have to ask yourself, how is it that I'm celebrating the same holidays that the world celebrates, but I'm with the Most High? My lifestyle is the same lifestyle that the world is, but I'm with the Most High. My marriage looks the same way as the people in the world do, but I'm with the Most High. My children are the same way as the people in the world is, but I'm with the Most High. My community and my family looks the same way as the world would, but I'm with the Most High. Then what is the purpose of being with the Most High? You might as well, if you're going to do everything else that the world is doing, live the same way that the world is living, and have the same problems as the world, what is the point of reading the Bible, coming to church? You understand? We're hustling backwards. We're wasting our time because we're not making this thing a sincere effort about change. How in the world can you have a Christmas tree and a Satanist have a Christmas tree up in this house? Think about that. How in the world can you go to church on Easter Sunday and the dude that you know, reckless and evil and wicked, is there with you sitting on the same pew? Think about that. Read it again, Deke. Romans 12:2. It says what?
And be not conformed to this world.
Be not conformed to this world.
But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect of God.
This is the reason why we have to do this, ladies and gentlemen, so that we can be proved to the rest of the people what is what?
That good,
acceptable and acceptable
and perfect
and mature
will of God.
Will of the Most High. That's the whole point of it. But if they don't see you as with Christ, what good are you? Matthew 5, D, 13 through 16. Watch this. The nice lesson talking about defeating the enemy within. And for those who just coming on, like I said, we've been talking about the so-called white man. We're talking about the government. We're talking about everybody who against us. And we're not talking about what we're doing to ourselves. Matthew 5, verse 13 through 16. Bring it out.
Ye are the salt of the earth.
Who?
Ye are the salt of the earth.
Now it's the Christians are the salt of the earth.
Ye are the salt of the earth.
Ladies and gentlemen, when this Sermon on the Mount was going forth, I don't care what they tell you in the Christian church, want a Gentile in sight. He was talking to the Israelites. D, go to Matthew 10 and 5 so we can prove that. Matthew 10 and 5 and 6. Let me show you who he was, what he said and who he said it to. So my brothers and sisters can understand the responsibility that you have. Why? Matthew 10, verse 5 and 6. So you can understand the sincerity, the severity of what we're talking about here tonight, of defeating that enemy within. Where everybody talking about what the white man is doing, the Most High ain't called the white man to be the light. He called you to do it. You understand? Matthew 10, verse 5 through 6. Bring it out.
These 12 Yeshua sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles.
He said, what?
Go not into the way of the Gentiles.
Uh-huh.
And into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not.
Where you got to go? Where they going?
But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Go where?
But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Now go to the Baptist church.
To the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Go to the Amazons.
To the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Go to the African Americans.
To the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
That's what Christ then went. Back to Matthew 5 so we can understand who he was talking to. Matthew 5:13.
Ye are the salt of the earth.
He was talking to Israelites. The so-called black man, the so-called African American man, the so-called Puerto Rican, the so-called Mexican, the so-called Native American, the so-called Dominican, the so-called Costa Rican, El Salvadorian, Honduran, Panamanian, the so-called Jamaican and the Haitian. You understand? The so-called Latino. The people of West and South Africa, the Aborigines of Australia, the Samoan, Hawaii, the people of the Philippines, and the people of the Fiji Islands. And all of our people scattered all over the world. That's who he was talking to. And he told them what?
Ye are the salt of the earth.
Ye are the salt of the earth.
But if the salt has lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted?
He said, listen, if you're the salt of the earth and you're the one who's supposed to preserve the earth and bring flavor and keep the earth standard alive, if you're not going to do that, then what good are you? To dribble the basketball and score some touchdowns? To make rap and R&B classics? If you think that's what the gist of our talent was for? No. That the Gentiles have extorted and exploited to get money off of us. But Mashiach said we were supposed to do what?
Ye are the salt of the earth.
Uh-huh.
But if the salt has lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted?
And what else we supposed to be doing?
Is this more good for nothing, but to be cast out and to be trodden under foot of men?
Mm-hmm.
Ye are the light of the world.
Now the Christians are the light of the world.
Ye are the light of the world.
Nah, man, it's the Baptists, man.
Ye are the light of the world.
Nah, man, it's the Amazon, bro.
Ye are the light of the world.
Nah, man, it's the Kojic and the Catholics.
Ye are the light of the world.
Nah, man, it's the Muslims, man.
Ye are the light of the world.
Nah, it's the conscious movement, man.
Ye are the light of the world.
Nah, it's the African Americans, man.
Ye are the light of the world.
Ye are the light of the world. We are the ones who are supposed to be giving light and bringing all the people to the Most High. But in order for us to do that, we must defeat the enemy within us. What else?
A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid.
Mm-hmm.
Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel.
Right?
But on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house.
That's right.
Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good work.
And do what?
And glorify your Father.
Now I'll give you props.
Glorify your Father.
Get your post shared on social media.
Glorify your Father.
Now put money in your pocket.
Glorify your Father.
Now so you can monetize your videos on YouTube.
Glorify your Father.
Now so you can be a celebrity.
Glorify your Father.
Nah, man, so you can be on TV and travel around the world.
glorify your Father,
So you can glorify the Most High,
which is in heaven.
which is in heaven. That's the point of it. He didn't put you on social media to call out Christians. He put you on social media and awaken so you can bring them in. He didn't put you out there to tell Gentiles they're evil and wicked. No, he put you out there so you could be the light to show them how holy and righteous this look. Tonight's lesson on this last night of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, defeating the enemy within. Dick, let's go to John 15. John 15. John 15. And let's start there at verse 1.
I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman.
Mm-hmm.
Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away.
Read that again.
Every branch.
Start back at verse 1.
I am the true vine.
I am the true vine.
And my Father is the husbandman.
So you got to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that the Most High is the one who brings forth the plant, the tree. And Christ is the vine in which everything is growing out of that tree. It's the Most High who's keeping it, right? He's the one taking care of it. He's providing all the nutrients and the water. You understand? Everything that's growing is coming forth as a result of the Most High's work. And Christ is the vine in which it grows out of it. But look at what he said in verse 2. He says what?
Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away.
So everyone that's connected to that vine who ain't bearing fruit, the Most High taketh away. You need to understand that. Do you want to be cast away? This is why you're seeing churches falling apart. This is why you're seeing communities destroyed. This is why you're seeing all these mega pastors and everybody falling every day. See, what we have done, ladies and gentlemen, as we equated large buildings and large venues and large crowds as success. It's success, but it's something else. You know, it's evidence of following somebody else. Because if Yeshua HaMashiach, who the world knows to be Jesus Christ, is walking the earth here today, he wouldn't have no mega church. You better believe that. He wouldn't be preaching at none of them. They wouldn't allow him in. He would never be invited back. Because the first answer, first question he would say is, why are we here on a Sunday? That would be the first question. That would be the first question. Then he would begin to look around and look at the madness and the stuff that's going on there and the clothes and how the women is dressed and how the men is dressed. And then he would begin to address that. And then his doctrine would probably get him kicked out of there by the time the first verse is read. You understand? Verse 3, go ahead, rest of verse 2. He said what?
And every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit.
Now, that's the thing that I need you to see here. So the branches that ain't bearing no fruit, the Most High just done with that. Let me show them that. Let me give them Revelations 3 and 15 right quick. Let me show them that right quick to prove what I'm saying here. That the ones who ain't doing nothing, Christ ain't even wasting no time on you. Revelation 3 and 15. Watch this.
I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I would thou wert cold or hot.
See, he would say, I would prefer you to be all the way with me or all the way against me. But he says what?
So then, because thou art lukewarm.
Because you're in the middle, you with me sometimes and you're not. What are you going to do?
And neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth.
I'm going to spew you out of my mouth. I'm not even going to be dealing with you at all. You just with me on Sunday morning, but then by the time Sunday afternoon, you're doing something else on social media. I ain't got no time with you. That's what he's telling you. Right? Now go back to John 15 because I want to show that. I always like to precept everything so that people don't think it's my opinion. But read that part again, where he says, but those ones who are bearing fruit.
And every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit.
Now see, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we're talking about tonight. Defeating the enemy within. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the purging process can be a very painful one. That's when you're cutting away things, breaking the things off you that's no good, that will get in the way of the fruit being produced. Now, precept that deep, go to Hebrews 12, verse 1 through 2. Because I need to show them that, because in some of you right now, you seem like you're losing everything, everybody walking away, and you asking yourself like, man, how in the world I'm in the truth and everything is bad? Let me show you. I'm just going to show you tonight. Hebrews 12, verse 1 through 2. Watch this.
Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight.
Every weight.
And the sin.
Notice he said the difference between the weight that's holding us back and the sin that's holding us back. So we can do what?
Which does so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us.
And we got to do, how are we going to be able to do that?
Looking unto Yeshua, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy was set before him endured the cross.
Right. Now, go ahead.
Despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of God.
Come. Now, back to John 15. Now, read that last part from again. He got those who are producing fruit.
Every branch that bringeth fruit, he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why some of you are experiencing pain and what you deem as loss is because you're producing fruit. The reason why some people are walking away from you is because the Most High is proud of the work that you're doing. And he knows with the people that's there, they're going to hinder you. You know, ladies, you know why that man that you loved for years is gone now? It's because that man would have never insisted on you bringing your purpose. Fellas, you know why you lost that job? It's because you would have never started a business. You would have never walked in your calling, working all of those hours on that job. So some of the things that you are losing, that are hurting, that have got you crying at night, it's because you're producing fruit. You understand? And when we get in a minute, we're going to take it to Moses, and we're going to show you some things dealing with Moses, because we know Moses is one of the greatest men ever lived there. And we're going to show you how Moses had to remove some things in him before he ever achieved the great things. Because see, we talk about Moses. Now, I know I'm putting the cart before the horse here, but we talk about Moses. When we talk about Moses, we talk about, yeah, Moses split the Red Sea, and Moses led the people in the wilderness, and he brought water out the rock and brought manna out the sky. And we talk about all these great things that Moses did, but there is no concentration, no time talked about of what Moses was before he did the great works. And so, because we don't talk about those things in the Christian church, you see the great works, nobody's talking about the pain, the suffering, the loss. So when you start dealing with the pain, the suffering, and the loss, you start thinking you off. You understand? When the attack's coming, you start thinking, I'm off. Nah. You understand? I got another precept that the Most High just gave me. I got to show y'all this in a minute. Woo! We're on fire tonight. Let's go. Keep going, Deep. Verse 3.
Now ye are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. Abide in me.
Abide in me.
And I in you.
Right.
As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself except it abide in the vine. No more can ye except ye abide in me.
So Christ said, listen, don't ever get to the point of thinking that the things that I've called you to do, you will ever be able to do outside of me. Because you can go to an apple tree or an orange tree or a banana tree or whatever the case may be, and if you break that branch off of that tree, I don't care if you got, that tree is leaning, that branch is leaning with fruit on it. If you separate that branch from that tree, that fruit on it will die and no more fruit sprout out of it. And this is the problem with our people. We want to be great. We want to make a difference in our community. We want to help the women. We want to help the children. We want to redeem us and get us up under the hand of the under the hand of the so-called white man. But you don't want to do it with Christ. You don't want to do it with the Most High. You don't want to submit to the Bible. You don't want to submit to his law. You don't want to submit to his Sabbath. You want to do it on your own. And read verse 5.
I am the vine.
Christ is divine.
Ye are the branches.
Ye are the branches.
He that abideth in me and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit.
So the ones who are in Christ and Christ is in them, they do what?
The same bringeth forth much fruit.
But
For without me, you can do nothing.
read that again. Last part.
For without me, you can do nothing.
For without me, ye can do nothing. You see, our people, now precept that deep, the Proverbs 16. See, our people is the reason why we haven't had anything to get going. Yeah, a couple of us done got some money. We done got some houses. We done got some capital. Yeah, some of our churches done been big, and we done had great congregations. They done some good works and fed some homeless and clothed them naked and put the homeless in some houses. But did it keep going? Once the great pastor died, everything was over. Once Mama Jones left, once Big Daddy Papa left, or whatever we want to call him, once the leader left, everything fell apart because it was all on them and it wasn't connected to Christ. Proverbs 16, let's prove that. Proverbs 16, verse 5 through 6. Watch this.
Everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination.
Read that again.
Everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination.
Ladies and gentlemen, especially my Christian brothers and sisters, we're spending all that time talking about people who are living a life of homosexuality. Oh, it's an abomination. Oh, you're going to hell. Read it again.
Everyone that is proud in heart
Everyone that's proud in the heart
is an abomination.
I bet you didn't know that, did you? You spending all your time talking about people that's gay and the women that's lesbians and the people that bisexual. Oh, that's abomination. Man, they supposed to live with mankind. Church want to focus on one particular sin and let everything else go. But the number one sin that everyone is guilty of is pride. And it is what?
Everyone that is proud in the heart is an abomination.
It's an abomination. Give them Proverbs 28 and 9. Let me show them what else is an abomination. Now I'm talking to my Christian brothers and sisters right here now.
He that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer shall be abomination.
He that turned away his ear from hearing the Most High's law is what?
Even his prayer shall be abomination.
Even your prayers are abomination. So every one of you pastors telling your members they ain't got to follow the law. Every one of you pastors telling that Christ's love ain't got nothing to do with the law. Every one of you members that are telling people they don't got to follow the law. Even your prayers are an abomination to the Most High. You understand? That white Jesus of Christianity can gas you up and lie. That is not the Christ of the Bible. You understand? Tonight's lesson is titled Defeating the Enemy Within. The enemy is us. Anything that's contrary to the Most High. Any mentality, any perception, any lifestyle, any tradition that is against this is the enemy. Back to Proverbs 16. Watch this. Read it again, D. Verse 5.
Everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination to the Lord.
Right?
Though hand join in hand.
Though their hand be hand in hand standing around the altar in church,
he shall not be unpunished.
You will not go unpunished by the Most High. All of you that's sitting outside talking about, I ain't going to no church. I done outgrew religion. I don't need the Bible. I don't need Christ. I don't need no man. You think you're going to make it, you ain't going nowhere. You understand? Verse 6.
By mercy and truth, iniquity is purged.
Read that again.
By mercy and truth.
By mercy and the truth of the Most High,
iniquity is purged.
Is sin purged out of our lives. And what else?
And by the fear of the Lord, men depart from evil.
So, ladies and gentlemen, especially now I'm talking about my Israelite brothers and sisters, you better turn your swag down. The only reason that we're doing what thus says the Most High is because of his mercy and his word. Without that mercy, the Most High, without his truth, we still be sinning. And the fear that the Most High gave us, the reverence and the honor, is the reason why we departed from evil, not on our own. Stop looking at other people who live in reckless and wicked and thinking you think you better than they is when you didn't do none of it. It was the spirit of the Most High that brought you out of it. So it ain't just about the fruit that we need Christ to do. It's about living right too. Back to John 15. Watch this. Now read verse 5 from again. Getting that full understanding of what Christ is about here.
I am the vine.
Christ is divine.
Ye are the branches.
We are the branches.
He that abideth in me and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit.
Right?
But without me, ye can do nothing.
We can't do nothing without Yeshua HaMashiach, who the world don't be Jesus Christ. We can't live right. We can't work right. We can't be proper husbands. We can't be proper wives. We can't be proper mothers. We can't be proper sons. We can't be proper daughters. And we will not build this nation without Christ. And I ain't talking about America. I'm talking about our nation, the nation of Israel. Verse 6.
If a man abide not in me, and he is cast forth as a branch,
Mm-hmm.
and is withered, and men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burned.
So if you listen, you want to do this outside of the Most High? If you think your creator is going to make a difference, then you go on with him. I hope it works out. Verse 7.
If ye abide in me, and my words abide in you, you shall ask what you will, and it shall be done unto you.
Read it again.
If ye abide in me,
So Christ said, if you abide in me,
and my words abide in you.
my who?
My words abide in you.
No, it's the religion.
My words abide in you.
Christ's words, not religious words, not Christian rhetoric, but his words abide in you. And what else?
You shall ask what you will, and it shall be done unto you.
It will be done. Verse 8.
Herein is my Father glorified.
Here's who glorified?
Herein is my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit, so shall be my disciples.
That's how he knows who it is. When you bear fruit. And I ain't talking about no money, no cash, no cars. The fruit is winning the souls, healing the sick. You understand? Tonight's lesson is entitled Defeating the Enemy Within. Now, Deke, let's go to Exodus, the 4th chapter. Wow. I thought this was going to be a short lesson. Somebody's going to clown me afterwards. Because I was like, yo, we won't be on there that long tonight. Yeah, Exodus 4. Let's go to Exodus 4. Let's break down Moses' life here. Now, I'm going to Moses' life here tonight because tonight we're talking about defeating the enemy within. Like, for example, now my Christian brothers, those who have any knowledge of the Bible, you will understand with this reference that I'm going to make here. Do you remember that when Yeshua HaMashiach, who the world knows to be Jesus Christ, was warning his disciples that he was going to have to die? She already laughing. Where Yeshua HaMashiach made the statement that he was going to have to die for the sins of Israel, and how Peter began to make a statement to him like, "Listen, man, I ain't letting you die. I don't care. I'll ride for you. Nobody gonna kill you, such and such." And Yeshua said to him, "Get thee behind me, Satan." And I remember when I first seen that as a young Christian, I was like, "What? That's kind of harsh to call your brother Satan." But as I got older and got into an understanding of what was going on here, Yeshua, who the world knew to be Jesus, was not calling Peter Satan. He was calling that spirit that was speaking through Satan, through Peter, Satan. Because anything that speaks against the will of the Most High is of Satan, period. So a lot of times, ladies and gentlemen, the things that are coming to you from your loved ones, your friends, your family, even your significant others, may be from people that you love. And it may sound as coming from a caring spirit. But if it's against your purpose, it's Satan. You understand? And I want to say this too. Just because a person can tell you something that you don't know, that doesn't mean that person is qualified to be your teacher. I'm going to say that again. Just because a person can tell you something that you don't know, that don't mean that person is qualified to be your teacher. Let me give you an example of what I mean by here. If you ever take a trip somewhere, right? Take a trip to a place you've never been. And when you get lost, you miss an exit, whatever the case may be. The safest thing, the smartest thing to do is what? To go to a gas station and ask the local, right? That local can tell you exactly where you need to go. They can tell you exactly where the street is, the places you're trying to go. They told you something that you didn't know. They put you on. In that scenario that what you was in, they helped you, guide you to the next places you were trying to go. But if you're arguing with your husband or your wife or your children or going through some situation, are you going to ask that person for some advice on that? No, you're going to get that direction to that venue, to that restaurant, to that street, and you're going to keep it moving. Well, but this is what's going on right now. What our people who are coming from the world and coming from the Christian church and coming into the truth that they're not black, that they're not African American, that they're from the tribe of Judah, from the nation of Israel. Because someone can come across and tell you something that you don't know, you deem that person qualified to be your teacher. No. Listen, if somebody can tell you something and share something with you, hey, that's great. You take it for what it is. But that don't mean they qualified to teach you. Some of you found out, you just not found out that the Shah Hamashiach, who wore known to be Jesus, wasn't black, wasn't white. Congratulations. That's wonderful to find out. Some of you found out that, that you are from the tribe of Judah, from the nation of Israel. You seen it on posts, some meme. You saw somebody teaching on YouTube or something, that the case may be. That's what's up, right? And especially, I'm especially talking to my ladies here because I'm seeing this happen too much with women. That these men are telling you something and giving you some understanding, and a lot of you that done dealt with church hurt and preachers that preach the same sermons every Sunday, whatever the case may be, and then you're starting to learn some things about the Bible, and you're getting excited about those things. And that's great. That doesn't mean they're qualified to teach you. Now, I just wanted to put that out there. This is a great segue into what we're talking about here with Moses. Moses, I'm bringing out this today in Exodus, the 4th chapter, because Moses has some things that all of us struggle with. It's insecurity, negative and perception of ourselves, loyalty to our families and our traditions, and flat out fear of the uncertainty, of the unknown. All of us deal with those things. All of us. We was just talking, the other day about, the struggle with trying to keep the feast days when a lot of your family don't honor these things, and trying to honor the Sabbath when your family don't honor these things. Some of you guys are in relationships where, you're coming into the truth of the understanding, and then your spouse or your significant other haven't seen what you saw, or don't watch the teachings that you watch, or whatever the case may be. Some of you are on your own island out here. And this enemy that we need to defeat ladies and gentlemen, is not all sin. Some of you are not struggling with fornication. Okay? Some of you are not struggling with homosexuality and lying and stealing and these things like that. But that don't mean you got weight that you need to lose. You understand? Some of our worst enemies is loyalty. I remember with me, and just put myself out there. You understand? I wasn't in the truth yet, but I left Anson County in 2009. Most High told me it's time to leave, go start my ministry. I went off, moved to Winston-Salem. Long story short, ministry started. And then some situations happened where I had to come back to Anson. But I really didn't have to come back there. I had other options. But because of loyalty, I came back home. And I went back to my old church and started serving my pastor again. Seems admirable, right? 1 year later, I come into the truth. And I was in a place that didn't have anything to offer me pre-truth or post-truth. No disrespect, but that's just what the reality was. Because was going in another level. It's not no slight to my pastors, and no slight to the people that were there. I just had moved in another direction. You understand? But because I love my pastor and what he done for me, I went there and served him. And I still learned things from him. Don't get it twisted. There were still things about being a pastor and a leader I still had to learn. Long story short, what I'm trying to say here, ladies and gentlemen, is that my loyalty to the church and my loyalty to my family kept me in a place where I should have been gone years ago. My loyalty and my love for my people here in Anson County has kept me here all this time. And we're preaching and we're standing here and we're going out on these street corners and we're doing all these things for years. But because we're not talking with everybody else over here, they don't want to hear it. But my loyalty has crippled me and handicapped me and kept me stagnated. If you'd have told me a year ago, will your first church be outside of Anson? I was like, no way. We gonna get this thing popping in Anson. Most High said, no, we in Monroe. And the next place is gonna be Charlotte. And we're gonna be all over this country. Thus says the Most High. So I'm saying that to say this, ladies and gentlemen. As we go through this Exodus 4th chapter and you start seeing the things that Moses is struggling with, when we talk about defeating that inner enemy, you need to recognize that there's anything inside of you that is speaking to you or speaking against what the Most High has said you are and who He has said you called you to be. It is your enemy. You understand? Now let's break this thing down. Let's walk through this and look at what all Moses had to go through. Like I said before, for those who are just not coming on, we talk about the great works of Moses, but we have not spent a lot of time dealing with the man that had to get to that point of parting that Red Sea. You don't just walk out in church and start parting Red Seas, ladies and gentlemen. You understand? You know, and we can break that down even further. The things that happened even before that. But we're going to show you here tonight some trials. And I'm going to show you something tonight that I bet is going to shock you. Watch this. Exodus 4th chapter. Let's start here, verse 1.
And Moses answered and said, but behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken unto my voice, for they will say, the Lord has not appeared unto thee.
Now, in your own time, in order to get a full understanding of what is taking place here in Exodus 4th chapter, you need to go back and you need to read Exodus the 3rd chapter when Moses had the encounter with the Most High at the burning bush. And the Most High told him, listen, you know, he told him his name. Matter of fact, let's give him that name so our people who don't know, let's give him the true name of the Most High. Now, before we read this, as we always say, we're not coming against anybody who calls on another name than we do. For those who are joining for the first time, we here at Better Day Ministry do not speak against Israel. We do not speak against elders or any other church. Whether you be an Israelite or you better call yourself a Christian. We will only do and teach what the Most High has given us. This is the name of the Most High in which He has given to us. Exodus 3, verse 13 through 15.
And Moses said unto God, behold, when I come into the children of Israel, and they say unto them, and shall say unto them, the God of your fathers has sent me unto you, and they shall say to me, what is His name? What shall I say unto them? Now,
see, one of the things, ladies and gentlemen, that our Christian brothers and sisters struggle with when they hear Israelites, our people who are awakening, calling on the names of the Most High, the name of the Most High, excuse me, is that in Christianity, you just used to saying God. But us in the truth understand fully that this world is full of gods. And Moses had this understanding. So the Christian church, they don't tell you that. They calling you. They're making you feel safe. They're making you feel like it's all good, so you can just say God and you straight. That's a lie. Because you know the reason why they tell you that? Because the gods of Christianity are the gods of the Gentiles. And that's just a flat out truth. If you believe that the God of Christianity and the God of America is the God of this Bible, you have been greatly deceived. You understand? Don't buy into that whole thing that this country was built on biblical values. You must have lost every ounce of brain function for real if you believe that. Because no Bible teaching leaders, believing leaders, are not going to call a human being 3/5 of a man. And that's what they called our people. You understand? And if they was following the Bible, they would know that the law said that if you took a slave, first of all, you had to buy a slave. You didn't go into a country and kidnap him. Okay, that's not allowed. Okay, you definitely can't beat him. The law speaks against beating them. The law speaks against raping the women, raping the children, butt breaking the men. You can't do any of that. Okay, so we know they won't follow the law. And it also says that after 7 years, you're supposed to set that slave free. So evidently they won't follow the Bible. Okay, so that's just to name a few. America has nothing to do with the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, I just want to make that clear. So Moses asked this question because he knew that the Egyptians served many gods. The people of Canaan, many gods. All the other Gentile nations, many gods. He couldn't go back and say, hey man, God told me to tell you, like you see in the Christian church. They'd have said, God who? That's what they would have said. I need specifics here. You understand? And we're going to give you specific here tonight. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and who he is and what his name is. Verse 14.
And God said unto Moses, I am that I am.
I am that I am. And in Hebrew, Judah culture, Shai had put that in there. Ahia, Ashur, Ahia. That's the Hebrew name. Tell them what?
Thus thou say unto the children of Israel, I am has sent me.
Tell them that Ahia has sent you. Shalaki. That's the name of the Most High. That don't need a breakdown. That don't need. That's not up for interpretation. That's flat out. Ahia is his name. Watch this. Verse 15.
And God said, moreover, unto Moses, this thou shalt say unto the children of Israel.
To who?
To the children of Israel. The Lord God of your fathers.
Of who?
Of your fathers.
Right.
The God of Abraham.
Abraham.
The God of Isaac.
Isaac.
And the God of Jacob.
Jacob.
Has sent me unto you. This is my name forever.
This is my name for what?
This is my name forever.
Nah, it changes, man.
This is my name forever.
How long?
Forever.
How long?
Forever. And this is my memorial unto all generations.
Nah, it's changed when we get into America.
And this is my memorial unto all generations.
Unto all generations. That's the name of the Most High God. Ahia, Ashur, Ahia. That's it. Now, back to Exodus 4. I just wanted to bring that out for people who didn't know. So Ahia has given the Most High, given Moses his instructions. Go back, tell Pharaoh to let my people go. You tell him that Ahia sent you. And the reason why, ladies and gentlemen, that we make sure that you knew that name is because when you're going forth in your purpose, you need to know that Ahia has sent you. This is a new day, ladies and gentlemen. Exodus 3rd chapter, verse 13 through 15. You understand? You need to know that Ahia has sent you. Give him Psalms 91. Let's build upon that name right now. Give him Psalms 91, and I want Revelations 14. Let's focus on that name. Because they say that name, don't matter. Let's make sure they know that name. Give him Psalms 40, Psalm 91, and I think it's around 14 when he says, and they had know my name.
Because he has set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him, and I will set him on high, because he has known my name.
He is what? Read it again. This is Psalm 91, verse 14, right? Mm-hmm. Watch this.
Because he has set his love upon me.
So you have set his love upon the Most High.
Therefore will I deliver him and set him on high.
So therefore, those who set their love upon the Most High and do what he does, he says, he's going to do what?
I will deliver him.
I will deliver him or her,
I will set him on high.
and I'm going to set him or her on high. Why?
Because he has known my name.
Because he has known my name. A higher, a sure, a higher. I did give him Revelation 14, verse 1. For all those people saying, man, just call God, man. He know what you're talking about. Just say whatever. He know. Revelation 14 and 1.
And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Sinai.
That's Yeshaya.
And with him 144,000.
That's the 144,000.
Having his father's name.
Having who?
Having his father's name.
Having who?
Having his father's name written in their forehead.
You see that? That name matters. Okay. It won't be God in their foreheads. It will be a higher, a sure, a higher in their foreheads. Okay? So you need to know that name. Now, just want to bring that out. Back to Exodus 4. Okay. All right. So Moses has been given the name of the Most High to take back to his people. He's been given instructions on what to do. And just like everybody that's on this lesson tonight, and those who will be watching in the days to come, when the Most High begins to reveal to you your purpose and you begin to understand, number one, that you're not black, that you're not an African American, that you're from the tribe of Judah, from the nation of Israel, when you begin to realize that you got to let go some things, or whatever the case may be, you start looking at yourself, and you started looking at yourself not through the eyes of the Most High, but you still seeing your eyes based on your sins, yourself through your sins, through your insecurities, through your money, through your support team, and all these, your support system, and your family, and what side of the tracks, your education. You start seeing all of the things that you deem against you. You understand? And that's the same thing Moses did. I'm going to show you. Exodus 4, back there. Now let's read that again. Let's start back in verse 1.
And Moses answered and said, But behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken unto my voice, for they will say, The Lord has not appeared unto thee.
They're going to say, man, listen, man, I just can't go back up in there and tell them. First of all, I've been on the run for 40 years. Okay? They ain't even seen me. Right? And some of you probably ain't been to church in years. Okay? Some of you been living reckless. You've been living all kind of ways. Some of you got all kind of babies out of wedlock. Some of you probably done been up in the club. Some of you might have been to prison. Some of you might have lived a life of homosexuality. Some of you probably done just been just the most evil and wicked person, right? And now the Most High done came to you, give you this truth of who you are, and then now he done told you to go back and wake your people up. He's like, man, they ain't gonna believe me. Who am I? Right? But look at what the Most High said, verse 2.
And the Lord said unto him, What is that in thy hand? And he said, A rod.
Right.
And he said, Cast it on the ground. And he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent. And Moses fled from before it. And the Lord said unto Moses, Put forth thy hand and take it by the tail. And he put forth his hand and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand. That they may believe that the Lord God of their fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has appeared unto thee. Now
he said, listen, so that they'll know that you're coming from their fathers, I'm going to give you the ability to do signs and wonders. Now, ladies and gentlemen, some of you are going to have the spiritual gifts to do signs and wonders, the gift of tongues, the gift of healing, all these different things. Don't get caught up in that, because all gifts are given by the same Spirit and the same Most High. Some gifts are this, some gifts are that. That's not what I want you to see out of this. What I want you to understand is that you have been equipped to do everything that the Most High called you to do. I'm going to prove that. Give them Jeremiah 1 and 5. And you were not equipped when you woke up. You was equipped to do the will of the Most High before you came here. I'm going to prove that. Jeremiah 1 and 5. Watch this. Jeremiah 1 and 5.
Before I formed thee in the belly.
Read that again.
Before I formed thee in the belly.
Nah, but when you came out and got the problems.
Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thee came forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations.
So, ladies and gentlemen, before you ever enter into your mother's womb, you were known by the Most High. You came from him. And then he says, before you came out of the womb that I put you in, I had already sanctified you and empowered you to do whatever I need you to do. See, the problem is, ladies and gentlemen, is that Satan and his tricks and lies and deception was there waiting for us in one way or another when we came out of the womb. And all we were heard and were taught is what was against us. The amount of money that we had, the parents that we were born to, the lack of education, the side of the tracks, the way we looked, the way we didn't look, how much we weighed, how much we didn't weigh, what clothes we had, what clothes we didn't have. All of these things that were against us is the emphasis that were being made, not what was given to us before we got here. You understand? So that's the same back in Exodus 4. I just wanted to show you that. That's the same thing that Moses was dealing with. Is that Moses was focused on what he didn't have, what he had against us, versus that the Most High had equipped him to do this work. If you go back to Exodus, the 2nd chapter, Shabbat Shalom, Brandon. Good seeing you on with us tonight. Brandon. Yeah. Lord willing. Before, if you go back to Exodus, the 2nd chapter, you will see that the Most High had already did everything he needed to do to make sure that Moses came into this earth. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're here hearing this lesson with us tonight, if you watch this lesson in the days to come, you are here for you to be reminded by the Most High that you have been empowered to do everything you need to do. I don't care what failures you had prior to this moment. You are more than able to do what you need to do going forth. Watch this. Verse 5, verse 6, like in verse 6, Exodus 4 and 6.
And the Lord said furthermore unto him, put now thy hand into thy bosom. And he put his hand in his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow.
Right.
And he said, put thy hand into thy bosom again. And when he put his hand into his bosom again, and plucked it out of his bosom, and behold, it was turned again as his other flesh.
Now, now you know I can't let that ride right there. Right? Right? What's that? That's right, Shy. Keep praying. You know I can't let that ride. For those who have seen the movie Charlton Heston, The 10 Commandments, and all of the tricks, Slocket, Most High, please forgive me, all of the wonders that he did in the movie, notice that that was one of the signs and wonders that he didn't do. He couldn't pull that off. You understand? Because they had a so-called white man. What he said? Oh, could you spell the name you said in Exodus, the 3rd chapter? That is a higher. That is A-H-A-Y-A-H. Assure, A-S-H-E-R. A higher, A-H-A-Y-A-H. I'm going to spell it again. And after the video, I will make sure I comment in there for you so you can have that. That is A-H-A-Y-A-H. A-S-H-E-R. A-H-A-Y-A-H. A higher, assure, a higher. That is the ancient Hebrew name of the Most High in Exodus, the 3rd chapter, verse 13 through 15. All right. Now, so, what else I saying? Okay, so in that right there, you see here in verses 6 through 7, the Most High told him, said, listen, you put your hands to your cloak, and when he pulled it out, it was white as leprosy. And when he put it back in, read that last part of what it said in verse 7.
And put his hand into his bosom again, and plucked it out of his bosom, and behold, it turned again as his other flesh.
So that lets you know, ladies and gentlemen, that Moses was not white. Okay. And this is why on the movie that they couldn't do that. That's the only one of the miracles that they didn't do in the movie. If you don't believe me, I know the movie is long. Go check it out. They did not do that miracle in the movie because Charlton Heston's white, or what they call white. Okay. More proof that the so-called Jewish people are imposters. You understand? Now, what we at, deep verse 8, Exodus 4 and 8.
And it shall come to pass if they will not believe thee,
Mhm.
neither hearken to the voice of the first sign, that they will believe the voice of the last sign.
And so he said, listen, if they don't believe the first sign, then I'm going to give you another sign. So he said, listen, what did that say to you and I today? I'm going to continue to show and prove that I'm with you. Let me pause here again, because we're talking about tonight's lesson is defeating the enemy within. Many times, ladies and gentlemen, we are putting so much effort and energy in trying to prove people wrong, when the truth, what you really need to be focusing on, is proving that the Most High was right about you. Okay? Stop trying to prove people wrong. Don't be spending all your time concerned with the people who say they're never going to make it. They're never going to be anything. They're never going to accomplish anything. Stop worrying about that. And you need to be focused on proving that the Most High was right about you. You understand? And what he's going to do is, as long as you stay, that's why we always, for these lessons, with continue to be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding to the work of the Most High. When you do that, he will continue to prove himself mighty in your lives. You understand? And so he said, listen, if they don't believe the first sign, they're going to believe the second one. Watch this. Verse 9.
And it shall come to pass, if they will not believe also these two signs, neither hearken unto thy voice, that thou shalt take of the waters of the river, and pour it upon dry land, and the water which thou takest out of the river shall become blood upon the dry land.
He said, don't worry. I got mad things. I got many things that I can show through you to prove that you're with me. The Most High got you. Watch this. Now, the Most High is telling them all these things that I'm going to do, and you're not going to have to be concerned with, but watch this. Look at this enemy inside of him. Watch this. Verse 10.
And Moses said unto the Lord, O my Lord, I am not eloquent, neither heretofore, nor since thou hast spoken unto thy servant, but I am slow of speech and of a slow tongue.
So still, all these works, all this empowerment that he's given to him, Moses still see himself as inferior. And that's what some of you right now are struggling with right now. You've done some great things. You've overcome some battles, but you're still seeing yourself through your weakness. Let me give him 2 Corinthians 12. I'm going to go back to Moses, but I'm just going to keep precepting out of these things to build you up. Because like I said, some of you ain't struggling with sin per se. You're struggling with your self-perception. You're struggling with your failures of your past. You're struggling with the things that you may not, that the world may deem as you may be missing out. 2 Corinthians 12. Give them verses 8 through 10. Here, watch this.
For this thing I besought the Lord thrice, and it
Now start at verse 7, Slaki.
Unless I should be exalted above measure through abundance of the revelations, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure.
So Satan came out and the Most High allowed Satan to attack Paul and to give him, a dose of humanity, so that even with the great things he was doing, that he wouldn't get swagged up and forget that he's just a man. So the Most High said, listen, I'm going to allow this thing to struggle you, to keep you struggling. We could go dive into that, what that struggle was, but that's another lesson for another time. So he had this struggle that was holding him back. Verse 8.
For this thing I besought the Lord thrice, that it might depart from me.
And so he kept praying. He prayed 3 times for the Most High to take this struggle away. But what happened? Verse 9.
And he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee.
He says what?
My grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness.
He said, listen, the grace, Yeshua said unto him, listen, my grace is sufficient. Notice when you see in the Bible, grace is never used for excuse of sin. Okay? Grace is always used to overcome sin. Grace is always used to be empowered. Grace is always used to be able to be a worthy and a productive vessel for the Most High. It ain't used as an excuse to sin and live reckless and eat whatever you want to and do whatever you want to and whatever lifestyle you want to. No, grace gives you the ability to overcome the things that are against you. You understand? So Christ says, listen, my grace is sufficient. Watch this. Now look at what Paul's response was, verse 10.
Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities.
I'm going to glory in my infirmities.
That the power of Christ may rest upon me.
Because see, now when I know that weakness that is in me is there, now, as a result of that being there, now I know that the power of Christ will always be with me to help me overcome that, and I ain't got to do it on my own. That's a sweet deal, man. Right? Now let's back to Exodus 4, because I just want to keep precepting out of here, showing you this great man of Moses, and look at his struggles, so that you don't get caught up in your struggles and think that you're the only one that done went through this. Oh, Moses did too. I'm going to show you this. Watch this. So read that again for him, D. He said, what did he say about his speech?
And Moses said unto the Lord, O my Lord, I am not eloquent, neither heretofore, nor since thou hast spoken unto thy servant. But I was slow of speech and slow of tongue.
Now look at what the Most High response was. Look at this right here, verse 11.
And the Lord said unto him, Who has made man's mouth? Or who has made the dumb or deaf or the seeing or the blind? Have not I the Lord?
He said, listen, man, didn't I make your mouth? That's the Most High, I'm telling you. And y'all, for y'all who got an established relationship with him, you know what I'm talking about. Hey, Father don't really cut no corners here. He's straight to the point. You understand? He said, listen, didn't I give you that? Didn't I make that mouth? So if I made it, whatever it is that you got, I know you got it. And whatever it is that you are lacking in, I definitely can make it so that you can overcome it. You understand? Watch this. Verse 12.
Now therefore go, and I will be with thy mouth, and teach thee what thou shalt say.
So listen, man, I already know what your shortcomings is. You don't need to remind me of your shortcomings. I know them what it is. You go do what I said. I'm going to be with your mouth. And just because you ain't quick on words and, you're not, got to give the gab. Hey, I'm going to tell you what to say. You got to understand. I got you. I'm with you. Now watch this. Now, we just breaking this down. We're taking our time with this tonight. So notice, Most High done gave him spiritual powers. And he done encouraged him and then told him that I got you. But look at Moses. Verse 13.
And he said, O my Lord, send, I pray thee, by the hand of him whom thou wilt send.
He said, man, send somebody else, man. Now, how many of us done said, let's keep it 100? All right, man. I know you say you got it, man. Just tell somebody else to go do it, man. I got a lot to lose there, man. A woman ain't really feeling this holiday stuff, man, The people on this job, man, they ain't trying to hear this, man, And, they don't call me no more, Pastor. No, on Father, I used to preach, 3-4 times a week, Man, send somebody else. Okay. Now, notice that you heard Christ. We was going over this last weekend. In Luke 22, Christ said, if this cup can pass away from me. So notice we showed you Christ last Sunday saying send somebody else. And now you're seeing Moses. Why are we doing this on this week, this Feast of Unleavened Bread? Because I want you to know beyond a shadow of a doubt, ladies and gentlemen, you're not the only person that has struggled with this thing. The greatest people of this Bible, the greatest people of our nation, have had the same struggles as you and I. You understand? That's the enemy within that we have to defeat. That enemy, that voice in our mind is telling us that we can't. That you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not beautiful enough, you're not skinny enough, you're not rich enough, you're not educated enough. This is the enemy that we're going to have to defeat. Watch this. Now, the Most High been pleading with him and empowering him, but it's going to get a point. It's going to get a time where the Most High is going to get tired of talking, and here he has reached that point. Watch this. Verse 14.
And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses.
He said, listen, man, God, Moses, now. Listen now. Yeah, listen. Now I told you now. Now, let me put this on a practical thing. Practical say, okay. Some of y'all with children, right? Been doing their homework with them. And you know your child is smart. You know your child ain't slow. Right? And you going over them fractions and you going over them spelling words or something. And they still sitting there acting like they can't figure it out. And you've been doing this thing for an hour or two now. You started out nice with a sweet parent voice, right? But now they sitting there with this straight face, and now they started crying. My niece didn't support it. Crying, I don't understand. I just know I can't get it. No, they just wanted you to do it, right? They want you to do it. That's the child in them cowering so that you could take the load off of them, right? And some of you parents are handicapping your children because many of you are doing their homework for them. You're doing their chores, the ones that you said was important. You're doing their stuff for them, right? And they're getting out of the hard work. They're getting out of the staying in the battle till they figure it out, because you're making everything easy for them. I remember, to be short testimony, I remember when I got into a financial situation where they was about to repossess my Suburban. I had a Suburban some years ago, and they was about to repossess it. And my mom was like, well, baby, you've been working hard and you doing good work, and I'm gonna talk to your daddy, and we're gonna help you out, because you know you are here trying to do better and do right, and we're gonna be there for you. My mom went to my daddy and asked. My dad said, nope. Right. Nah. My mom was lit. Like, that boy up there in Winston-Salem, and he up there done been sick, and he going through all this, and he about to lose his car, and he gonna need to get to his appointments, and he trying to get on and do for himself, and you ain't gonna help him out? My dad said, nope. And I'm like, man, it's rough, right? So a few months after I lost the whip, came home, he said, talked to him, he said, listen, he said, I told you when you went and got that car, instead of putting all that money down and paying the payment, I told you to go just get you something you can buy. Flat out cash. Didn't I tell you this? I said, yeah, you did. He said, I'm trying to teach you that I'm not gonna always be here to bail you out. You younger, hey, whatever. You on your own. You got a college degree. You out on your own. You're paying your own bills. You gotta understand that you as a man have to stand on your own. You can't always be running back to me. And at that point, losing that whip meant more to me with the lesson that my father taught me than him bailing me out. You understand? See, and this is what the Most High knew with Moses. You think he's just gonna went and got Aaron and just did the work and left Moses in that woods crying to himself? No. He knew the greatness that was inside of Moses. And that's what his anger was about. Not that Moses was scared, but because he didn't take what he was saying to him, the weight of the words of the Most High. When you go over to Numbers, the 13th chapter, you will see that the Most High had been telling them since Exodus that I've made this land for you, just this land full of milk and honey. And when he told Moses, he said, send 12 spies out. When they came back and told the people that all the people that was there that was stronger than them, the Most High called that report an evil report, because the report of the people was against what the Most High said was theirs. So, ladies and gentlemen, you need to realize every time you speak against yourself, every time you say something against who the Most High called you to be, that's an evil report. Every time you call yourself a Gentile, that's an evil report. Every time you call yourself black, that's an evil report. Every time you call yourself African American, that's an evil report in the eyes of the Most High. Listen to what the Spirit is bringing out tonight. Every time you call yourself poor, uneducated, nigger, worthless, ugly, whatever it is you call yourself outside of what the Most High has called you, you are speaking an evil report. Because that's not what the Most High called you. And you must realize that that voice that is speaking contrary to what he has said is the enemy. Your enemy, your greatest enemy, is not the so-called white man. It's not the so-called government, not America. It's not the Gentiles. It ain't nobody but that voice inside of you saying you can't. And on this last day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, we need to make sure going forth in these 7 Sabbaths before first fruits that we get out every bit of leaven, every bit of doubt, every bit of unbelief, every bit of anything that will keep us from producing the fruit the Most High desires of us. You understand? The Most High is ready for us. But the question is, are we ready for him? I'm not having another conversation about the white man. I don't want to hear it. Until my brothers and sisters get to this law, statute, commandments, start keeping these holy days, don't come to me talking about no white man. You understand? It's because our brothers and sisters, our pastors, our Christian leaders are the ones that have been in churches telling them that madness. It ain't the white man. Their doctrine came from the white man, okay? But it ain't them that's lying to them every Sunday. It's our own brothers and sisters. You understand? Exodus the 4th chapter, verse 14. Read that again, Dick. He says what?
And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses.
Right.
And he said, is it not Aaron the Levite thy brother? I know that he can speak well, and also behold, there cometh forward to meet thee, and when he seeth thee, he will be glad in his heart.
He said, listen, man, okay, man. God, I already told you I'm going to be with you. I told you I got you, but if you're going to feel more comfortable, you're going to feel more at ease, all right, I'm going to send Aaron with you. I know he speak well. Watch this. Verse 15.
And thou shalt speak unto him, and put words in his mouth, and I will be with thy mouth, and with his mouth, and will teach you what you shall do.
So he said, listen, I'm going to talk to you, and then you tell Aaron what to say, and Aaron going to go tell the people. So he's going to make sure that you're going to have everybody around you that you need. I'm talking to let me talk to my men right here. One of the problems, ladies and gentlemen, with men, for our men, is that you don't realize that you need people. Namely, a wife, to do this work. Listen, you cannot accomplish your purpose with the Most High with a fan club. You cannot accomplish the work of the Most High with a cheerleader. You cannot accomplish the work of the Most High with some arm candy. with eye candy. That ain't gonna do nothing. Just so you can walk in the room and say, listen, look what I got. Yeah, look what I got. Hey, it's gonna be some cold nights. It's gonna be some long days if that woman ain't with the Most High. And I'm talking about she got to be with the Most High prior to getting with you. All this, I'm gonna put them on. Nah. Ladies, you better stop worrying about being alone. Because the truth of the matter is that many of the women that you envy, many of the women that you think is life is so much better than you, are alone every night in the bed with a man right beside them. They got children and they're alone. They're driving a fancy car and they're alone. You understand? Allow the Most High to place the people in your life that you need and the ones that you don't need to do what you need to do. Let them go. You don't need a lot of people. You need the right people. You don't need a man. You need the right man. You understand? Tonight's lesson is entitled Defeating That Enemy Within. That voice is telling you you can't. You're not good enough. You don't have what it takes. Watch this. Exodus 4, verse 18. So like verse 17. It's like verse 16.
And he shall be the spokesman unto the people.
Mm-hmm.
And he shall be to thee instead of a mouth, and thou shalt be to him instead of a God.
Right, verse 17.
Instead of God. And thou shalt take this rod in thy hand, wherewith thou shalt do signs.
Mm-hmm.
And Moses went and returned to Jethro, his father-in-law, and said unto him, Let me go, I pray thee, and return unto my brethren which are in Egypt,
Mm-hmm.
and see whether they be yet alive. And Jethro said to Moses, Go in peace. And the Lord said unto Moses in Midian, Go, return to Egypt, for all the men are dead which sought thy life.
Now, let me explain this. Let me explain this. So when Moses gets done, all this is an extension of what happened in Exodus 3. Now, when Moses gets this final declaration from the Most High, he goes back into his wife's father, his father-in-law, and said, listen, I got to go back to Egypt. I got to go do this work. Now, mind you, for those who don't know, the reason why he ended up out of there because he killed the Egyptian that was attacking one of his brethren, and he had to run from his life. And he was gone for 40 years. He comes back. He left almost 18. He comes back. He's almost 80. But he comes back. It's a long time. Another lesson for another time. So now he goes back and he tells Jethro, I gotta leave. Now, that may seem innocent, but we're talking about today defeating the enemy within. It's nice to have the people blessing and going to do what you got to do, but you don't need that. And some of you are waiting to get the proof of your family to go to do the work of the Most High. And that's why some of you ain't left yet. I'm not telling you just to close the door on all who ain't in the truth. That's not what we're telling you. I'm not telling you to burn bridges and say, if you're not brewing it, you're not with it. I ain't telling, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not telling you that this week you heard the truth and now you serving the church and you don't go back and you don't got nothing to say to nobody. No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is this. You better stop allowing the approval of people to keep you from doing the work of the Most High. So he goes back and he tells Jethro, like, I'm getting ready to go. And Jethro's like, yeah, man, go ahead, man. But you're going to find out in a minute that Jethro gave him some things to do, which is contrary to what the Most High told him to do. And you're going to see what happened in a minute. Verse 19.
And the Lord said unto Moses and Midian, go return into Egypt, for all the men are dead which sought their life.
Right, verse 20.
And Moses took his wife and his sons and set them upon a donkey, and he returned to the land of Egypt. And Moses took the rod of God in his hand.
Right.
And the Lord said unto Moses, when thou goest to return into Egypt, see that thou do all those wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put in thy hand. But I will harden his heart that he shall not let the people go.
So listen, that's another thing that you need to realize, is that just because you're doing what's right, that don't mean the enemy is going to fall to your feet and succumb to what you're doing. That's another problem that people are having. It's because they're not seeing any visual effects. They're not seeing it. They feel as if what they're doing is ineffective because they don't see it making a difference. Listen, really, most time the Most High is behind that too. He said, listen, you go do the works, but I'm going to harden his heart, so he ain't going to listen. Seems like that's working against you, but it's really not. Because ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, whatever it is that we're called to do, ultimately the glory is never supposed to be about us. Excuse me. It's supposed to be about the Most High. And so that's why there's going to be adversity. That's why it's going to be problems and hills and mountains and obstacles and pitfalls. So that when you get done fulfilling that purpose, that nobody will be able to question who was doing the work through you. It's the Most High. But watch this. Verse 22.
And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus saith the Lord, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. And I say unto thee, let my son go, that he may serve me. And if thou refuse to let him go, behold, I will slay thy son, even thy firstborn.
And that's what happened on the Passover night. Verse 24.
And when it came to pass by the way in the end, the Lord met him and sought to kill him.
Wow. See, that's another story that they don't tell you about Moses in the Christian church. Do you know before Moses even got back into Egypt that the Most High was about to kill him? Yeah. Now, in Exodus, it doesn't bring it out all the way. So we're going to go into the book of Jasher to give you a full explanation of why the Most High were displeased. And this is what I'm talking about here tonight with that loyalty to your families, loyalty to your traditions, loyalty to the ways of that you've always been doing things. Some of you, ladies and gentlemen, even though you know that you got to keep the holy days, because it's a tradition in your family, some of you going to be in church Sunday, Easter Sunday, because that's what you've always been doing. Not realizing that you're blaspheming the Most High. Some of you, I know some of the people that have been with us for 2 years, I saw last year, knowing the truth, and I still see you with pictures with Santa Claus hats on the Christmas trees up in your house. Because it was tradition. And you thought, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I know it's real. I know Christ ain't white. I know all this, that. So there ain't nothing wrong with that. That's what we always been doing, right? Some of you, when it's come to the Sabbath, when it's Friday sundown, Saturday sundown, you know that, yeah, that's the real Sabbath. But some of you are still going and buying and spending money, going out to the bars, going out to restaurants, going to the clubs, going to movies, going to the yard sales and and just carrying on Friday, sundown to Saturday, sundown, just like it's a normal day. Some of you who know that the religious the holidays of Christianity is pagan, so you're gonna stop celebrating those, but you won't make an emphasis to celebrate the holy days of the Most High. Some of you that's been in the truth for a long time and knowing who you are, your social media pages, the image that you played off on social media looks just like any other person. The way that you live in, the way that you talk, the places you go, all the things ain't changed. More important, the traditions of your families. The traditions that come along with being Black. The traditions that come along with being African American. You still want to hold dear to those things as if they're a continually part of your life. Same thing Moses did. So Moses got all this instruction, all this empowerment, all this direction, and the Most High was finna take him out. This is before ever even got back to Egypt. We're talking about defeating the enemy within tonight. I want to show you this. Watch this. Make sure you put this in the book of Jasher. You guys don't got this, and like I said, we normally don't be going to these Hebrews writings. But I want to bring this out tonight because I want to show you the significance of this. And you'll be able to Google this on your own so you can see this. But I want to bring this out tonight because I want to show you the significance of holding on to the traditions of your family. You understand? I want to show you this. Watch this. We're in Book of Jasher, chapter 79, verse 7 through 12. This is what we're going to be reading from tonight. All right? And let me show you why Moses almost got took out before he even went to Egypt and do the work. So you can look at yourself and say, hey, if there's some things that I need to let go to, bring it out. Book of Jasher 79, verse 7. Watch this.
And Moses hearkened to all that the Lord had commanded him, and returned to his father-in-law and told him the thing. And Reuel said unto him, go in peace.
So the same thing we just read here in Exodus 4, it's the same thing you see in the book of Jasher. He said, listen, same thing. He heard what the Most High told him. He went back to his father-in-law, and Jethro told him to go in peace. Watch this. Go ahead.
And Moses rose up to go to Egypt, and he took his wife and his sons with him. And he was at an inn at the road, and an angel of God came down and sought an occasion against him.
He said, listen, that inn where you see here in Exodus 4 chapter, this is talking about it basically a split in the road. And I didn't want to go into Exodus. I want to take you in the book of Jasher so it could open up and you can see actually what happened. So when they get right there, that split of the road where it's time to go to take that right and go to Egypt, an angel of the Lord came down and met him and was about to take Moses out. I wonder what he did. Watch this.
And he wished to kill him on account of his firstborn son, which he had not circumcised him, and had transgressed the covenant which the Lord had made with Abraham. You see that? Why did he do that, D? For Moses had hearkened to the words of his father-in-law, which he had spoken to him, not to circumcise his firstborn son, therefore he circumcised him not. You see that? Because his father-in-law said, nah, man, we don't do that over here. So instead of following the covenant and the laws of his fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Moses forsook that and listened to his father-in-law, and he got took out over it. What has that got to do with you and I? Some of you right now are learning the truth that you're not Black, that you're not an African American, that you're from the tribe of Judah, from the nation of Israel. And you're learning now how to follow the true God of the Bible. Yet, you're deeming the traditions of your parents and your families more important than what the Most High said. See that? Oh man, you listen, man.
You ain't gonna tell me ain't nothing wrong with those kids going out there having Easter egg hunt. It's just for fun. You ain't gonna tell me that them coming out here on a Sunday with me is something bad. So I can't take them to the movies just what did the sun going down on Friday have to do with Jesus? We hear this all the time. You know, every Saturday, this is the time as a family, we go out and we do this and we do that. Some of you are being reluctant to remove the things that is in your life because you don't want to be unloyal to your family traditions. Tonight's lesson is entitled Defeating the Enemy Within. They never told you about that, did they? And I'm going to tell you what's even worse. Guess what? They was in Midian. Midian is also a son of Abraham. So this is the problem. Everybody calling themselves Christians and with Christ, even though they came from the same churches and they actually said they follow the same Bible as you, that don't mean they're doing it right. You understand? You know how many times people who are watching our videos come in my inbox and say to me, well, Pastor, I hear what you're saying there, but I heard this other pastor over here, he said this about that. Did he quote the Bible? No, but he just, no, don't bring to me what some other man is telling you. I tell people all the time, pick your teacher and follow him. If you want to stay in the Christian church, stay there. But don't keep coming to Israelites and then going back to them and then coming back to us saying, well, they said this, what about that? Because the only thing we're going to say is what's in here. We're not going to give you no Christian rhetoric. We're not going to give you the opinions. You're being tossed to and fro. Pick a team, pick a God, and stay with it. You understand? Get these one verse Willis cats out of your life. And you need to hold on to the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Not the God of your grandmother. Not the God of America. Not the Baptist God and the Amazon God and the Kojic God. None of those gods. Because they are not the God of the Bible. And you're going to have to accept that. Now read that verse again, Dick. He says what? Why did he want to kill him?
And he wished to kill him on the account of his firstborn son, because he is not circumcised him, and had transgressed the covenant which the Lord had made with Abraham.
So he said, listen, he put his word to his father-in-law more important than what the Most High told him to do. So what happened? Mm-hmm.
And Zipporah saw
that's his wife.
Saw the angel of the Lord seeking occasion against Moses. And she knew that this thing was owing to his not having circumcised her son Gershom. And Zipporah hastened and took a sharp stone, rock stones that were there, and circumcised her son, and delivered her husband and her son from the hand of the angel of the Lord.
You see that? So Zipporah said, listen, hey, I ain't gonna let my man get killed here. Now go back to Exodus in the Bible, D, and look at what Zipporah's reaction was when he did that. Look at what she said to him. Watch this.
Then Zipporah took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her son and cast it at his feet and said, surely a bloody husband art thou to me.
So he said, listen, so the wife got mad and said, man, look what you got making me do. She thought I was wrong and evil. So I don't want you to take it as if the wife did it and was converted. No, the wife was mad. So I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, the people in your life, they may not be on board with this thing, what you're doing. And you're going to have to be able to deal with the fact that these people may be against the Most High. And they may love you, and you may love them. But your loyalty at the end of the day has to be to the Most High. You understand? Tonight's lesson is entitled, Defeating the Enemy Within. You can scroll up a little bit and see where we need to go here. Let me look at that Sirach again. Let me see what that Sirach looks like. Yeah. Let me get Sirach 23. Let me get Sirach 22. And then go ahead and get First Timothy 6. I need that Sirach tonight. Go to Sirach 23. Go to Sirach 23 first. We're gonna read verse 1 and we're gonna go back because we got to show something here. So for those who don't have an apocrypha, I want you to get your separate laptop, your phone, or your tablet, and go to Google and put in S-I-R-A-C-H. S-I-R-A-C-H, chapter 21, Soccer, chapter 23, and just bring it up. We're going to be going through a lot of verses there. For those who have an apocrypha, it is Ecclesiasticus, chapter 23. Now watch this. Now we talk about defeating that enemy within tonight, right? And watch this, what the Most High going to bring out here. Sirach 23. Let's start there, verse 1. Verse 1.
O Lord, Father and Governor of all my whole life, lead me not to the counsels,
To their counsel.
and let not me fall by them.
Now, so it's very important to see what Sirach is saying here. So in order for us to know what that counsel is and them is, we got to go back to chapter 22 and look at verse 30. Sirach in verse 27.
Who shall set a watch before my mouth? And a seal of wisdom upon my lips.
Right.
And I will not fall suddenly by them, and that my tongue destroy me not.
So he said, listen, I can't be living off my own words, is what he's saying here. I can't be making off on the wisdom that I have available for myself. That's what he's saying. Who's going to put this seal on this? Who's going to allow me not to talk myself into destruction? Because that voice inside of us is talking us into destruction. Man, if I were you, I wouldn't take that, man. And hey, I'm feeling some type of way in here. Do you know how many times I've been in an argument with a woman and she said to me, I know that ain't what you said, but this is what I heard. I'm like, what? I know that ain't what you said, but this is what I heard? Really? Now you got these brothers today, man, I don't know, man, I'm over here feeling some type of way. I've never in my life thought I'd hear a dude say that, but you hear it all the time now. Dudes are turning into more emotional creatures than the women are. And so we're gassing ourselves up. We're moving by our emotions. And then not only are we doing that, then once we do that, we're starting talking ourselves into destruction. That's why I wanted you to go back and see what he was talking about here, so you can see the prayer that Sirach is praying here. Watch this. Now go back to chapter 23 and look at verse 1. Watch this.
O Lord, Father and Governor of all my whole life, lead me not to their counsels, and let me not fall by them.
Don't let me fall by my own wisdom that's coming out of my mouth. Don't let me be caught up in my own way of thinking. Don't let me get trapped in the voice that I'm hearing inside of my head. Because that voice that's inside of my head is telling me to live reckless is going to destroy me. My understanding of what I'm seeing right now is going to lead me down a path of hell. You see, we have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that our feelings are real, but they're not always accurate. You understand? And this is one of the things, because especially for my Christian brothers and sisters, that you was in the church and sin wasn't being addressed, the law wasn't being addressed, your lifestyle won't be addressed. Then you start coming dealing with Israelites and you're dealing with the elders and they're breaking down the law and you get cut up, and then they dealing with that inner man and you getting cut up, and then now you're going to that, you're pulling out that Christian term of, man, you judging me. Nah, brother, I ain't judging you, the word judging you. So this is one of the problems that when that transition from the Christian church is for a lot of brothers and sisters is because now the lifestyle and the way of thinking is being addressed. When over there, it was, you're going to make it, name it and claim it, running around the church, acting crazy. But it ain't easy when you're dealing with that law. You understand? So he said, listen, don't let me be governed by this thing. Don't let me fall to the counsel of my own words. Watch this, verse 2.
Who will set scourges over my thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
and the discipline of wisdom over my heart?
He said, who gonna do this? Because if I do this for myself, I'm going to fail. I need a blocker. I need a mediator. I need a meeting here. I need a level of standard. And what is that letter? That standard? Yeshua HaMashiach, who the world knows to be Jesus Christ. That's the standard. But outside of that, you will fail. Watch this. What else?
That they spare me not for my own ignorance.
For my what?
For my ignorance.
For my what?
For my ignorance.
Uh-huh.
And it passed not by my sin.
So damn, now because of that, because I'm listening to my own ignorance and telling me that I'm straight, man, I'm under grace. You don't even know that your own ignorance is leading to your own destruction and your own demise. Do you know, ladies and gentlemen, that we're living in a generation that is becoming rich and famous off of your own self-destruction? That's the reason why our people can't be talked out of these things, is because their lifestyle is making them rich and famous. The more naked the women are willing to get, the more popular and more cash they're making. The more idiotically and the more wicked and the more ratchet that the men is doing, the richer they're becoming. You understand? Self-destruction is it's making people millionaires now. You understand? Watch this. Verse 4, verse 3.
Lest my ignorances increase and my sins are bound to my destruction. And I fall before my adversaries, and my enemy rejoice over me, whose hope is far from thy mercy.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why you're seeing all of our brothers and sisters in the music industry and the athletes and the Christian church falling is because the same people that you're telling is your enemy is the same ones that telling you to go sin. Do you think that the people that's destroying R. Kelly right now, you think they didn't know about the life he was living? Well, they promoted those albums all the time, and you was in the club dancing to them. Fornicate, 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 fornicate. I don't see nothing wrong. Who was promoting it? Now, the same people that promoted it are the same people that's producing Surviving R. Kelly. The same enemy. The same enemy that gave our people Christianity is the same one that are pulling back the covers on the pastors who are living ratchet. You understand? Our people go out on a block and say, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, and then go in the studio, sell drugs, sell drugs, sell drugs, pop pills, pop pills, pop pills, cut a hole, cut a hole, cut a hole. Then come on Instagram, Black Lives Matter. The same enemy is sitting back laughing. You see that? These rappers and all these cats don't got no credibility for nothing because all of them came millionaires over the destruction of our community. While the enemy was writing them a check. Come on out there. Tell them to sell some more dope. I got prisons I'm building that we need to fill up. You see that? and we laughing. Y'all tuning into these reality shows, laughing. This ain't no joke. This is the destruction of our nation. We got to show to my some of the, what is it, the real side chicks. Being a side chick, ladies and gentlemen, ain't a new thing. The new thing is when she came public and proud of the title. Being a deadbeat dad ain't a new thing. It's when now he go on social media and say, you know what I'm saying, I'm about me, I'm getting me. You understand? You understand? It's defeating the enemy within. Watch this. What we at, D? Verse 4? Sirach 23 and verse 4.
O Lord, Father and God of my life.
Right?
Give me not a proud look.
Give me not a proud look.
But turn away from thy servants always a holy mind.
Hold on, D. We're bringing out too much now. YouTube, just give us 1 second. They're going too smooth now. They gotta shake it up a little bit. Just 1 second. All right, there we go. All right, we're here in Sirach 23. Give verse 4.
O Lord, Father and God of my life, give me not a proud look.
He said, give me not a proud look.
But turn away from thy servants always a haughty mind.
He said, listen, man, get this stuff away from my life. The thing that our people today are proud of, Sirach is saying, I need this away from me. You see that? The things that we are boasting about on social media is the things that we really should be ashamed of. And as I said, I'm going to keep saying this. I'm going to keep reiterating this. On this last day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, these are the things that we need to be mindful that we get out of our lives. You understand? See, this is the difference between the holy days for the Most High and those pagan holidays in Christianity. You ain't making no decisions when Easter come about changing your life, about nothing. About what? You're going to go buy a new suit and go to church, eat some ham. Eat some boiled eggs. On this Passover, this Feast of Unleavened Bread, you're in this week, this whole week, just looking at your life like, man, the scriptures are forcing you to say, listen, I got to do this. When you're taking that yeast out of your life, now you're realizing that yeast stands for the sins and the things that are rising up in our lives that are hindering us. Our brothers and sisters in the Christian church not going to be doing no self-examination during Lent. Because they taking some sodas out of their life and taking some coffee out. Oh, I'm gonna get off Facebook. What is that? I'm not gonna drink coffee for 21 days. And then you're gonna post about it every day. Day 2, no coffee. Day 3, no coffee. Day 4, no coffee. But the holy days of the Most High, you are forced to. You are demanded each time of it when it comes to one thing or another. You're starting to see, I gotta do this. I gotta be this. I gotta be better. Hold on. No, hold on. That demand. You're going from holy day to holy day. You're having fun. You're celebrating. You're feasting with the family. But you're still like, man, hold up now. And he's carrying us from each holy day to the next. And you're seeing Christ in every one of them. See that? Watch this. Verse 5.
Turn away from me vain hopes and concubines.
That strong sexual desire.
And thou shalt hold him up that is desirous always to serve thee.
He said, listen, look at how Sirach is telling the Most High, get these things out of my life because this is the only way. If you don't hold me up, I ain't gonna never be able to be the person that you want me to be. Watch this. Verse 6.
Let not the greediness of the belly nor the lust of the flesh take hold of me.
Read that again.
Let not the greediness of the belly.
Now go get money.
Let not the greediness of the belly.
No, name it and claim it.
Let not the greediness of the belly.
No, man, the blessing of the Lord make it rich.
Let not the greediness of the belly, nor the lust of the flesh take hold of me.
Mm-hmm.
And give not over me thy servants into an impure mind.
He said, listen, I need all of these things out of me. I need to defeat that enemy inside of me, that voice that's telling me to be contrary of the Holy Spirit. Look at this. Watch this. Verse 7.
Hear, O ye children, the disciples of
The discipline.
the discipline of the mouth. He that keepeth it shall never be taken in his lips.
Read that again.
Hear, O ye children, the discipline of the mouth. He that taketh it shall never be taken in his lips.
Ladies and gentlemen, just because the American Constitution gives you the freedom of speech, that don't mean you need to be running your mouth. D. Give them Matthew 12 and 36 through 39, 38. Watch this. See, ladies and gentlemen, social media, I'm telling you, man, it has given a platform to anybody who wants to say something to be heard. And that ain't really what it needs to be. Everybody don't need to be talking. We need to be doing more listening than we need talking. That's why James tells us to be slow to speak, but swift to hear. You understand? See, I'm going to tell you on a natural level. On a natural level, our young people and our teenagers and our young adults, lives are forever damaged and destroyed by their social medias. They go into these jobs and these people are pulling up that page. Oh, yeah, you said that. Oh, oh, you got these pictures? No. Oh, you got that tattoo on your neck? Oh, no. Oh, you over there saying this? Oh, that's what you like to do? You got people right now that'll be staying out of work and go on social media and post, yeah, how you go to work today. And it's surprising they get fired. Oh, that's the devil's business. No, it's you. Okay? Why everybody trying to come after my man? Because you on Facebook telling them everything about your man. You're telling them every time you're mad at them. Man, you got your women, you posting pictures of your women body all over the face, on Facebook, so somebody can say, oh, my man winning. Yeah. And it's your homeboy. I could do it better, though. So we're talking reckless. We're saying anything we want to on Facebook. Coming at anybody, saying anything to anybody. And you think that it's cool because people liking and sharing what you're doing. Matthew 12, verse 36.
But I say unto you that every other word that men shall speak, they shall give an account thereof in the day of judgment.
Do you really realize, ladies and gentlemen, that everything that you have said out of your mouth for the entirety of your life, when you stand before the Most High, you're going to have to give account for it. Now, knowing that, if there's some things that you wish you had never said, read it again.
But I say unto you that every other word that men shall speak, they shall give an account thereof in the day of judgment.
And this goes for my Christian pastors. That when this truth comes and we're telling that you're not black, that you're not an African American, and you go back and tell your congregation, don't listen to that, you are a Gentile. Read it again.
But I say unto you that every other word that men shall speak, they shall give an account thereof in the day of judgment.
And when you go back and tell your people, man, you ain't got to keep the law.
But I say unto you that every other word that men shall speak, they shall give an account thereof in the day of judgment.
Oh, don't worry about the holy days, man. That was just for the Jewish people.
But I say unto you that every other word that men shall speak, they shall give an account thereof in the day of judgment.
Verse 37.
For by thy words thou shalt be justified.
By thy words thou shalt be justified.
And by thy words thou shalt be condemned.
You see that? So you better be careful on thinking that you can just say anything you want to. Just whatever. I can say whatever I feel. It's my mouth. I can say it. I wouldn't suggest it. And the way that some of you are talking to your children, some of you men, the way you're talking to your wives, the way you're speaking to people in passing, posting things that ain't coming at people's necks on social media. You think that your I'm a Christian t-shirt gonna get you somewhere? It's gonna get you in trouble with the Most High. Every word Every one of them. You understand? Back to Sirach 23. I just want to make that clear. We just think we can just say anything we want to. It ain't going to go down like that. Watch this. Back in Sirach 23. Let's go to it. Let's go straight to it now. Let's go to verse 16.
Two sorts of
No, Dick, I need that verse 8. I need that verse 8. Watch this. Slacky, verse 8.
The sinner shall be left in his foolishness, both the evil speaker and the proud shall fall thereby.
Read that again.
The sinner shall be left in his foolishness.
The sinner shall be left in his foolishness.
And the evil speaker and the proud shall fall thereby.
They're going to fall thereby. Your own words. Your own lifestyle is what's bringing us down. It ain't the white man. It's us. Wasn't no white man that shot that woman on the way to her nursing job the other day. There wasn't no white man that ran up in there, told you to go, told that boy to go up in there, beat up on that girl in Burger King. You understand? It's us. When your house get broken into, when the last time was a white man that did it? You understand? We gotta look at ourselves. We're the problem. That's why tonight's lesson is entitled Defeating the Enemy Within. Now let's go to it, verse 16.
Two sorts of men multiply sin, and the third will bring wrath.
What's going to happen?
A hot mind is as a burning fire.
A what?
A hot mind is as a burning fire.
Man, you can't tell me nothing, man. Listen, man, ain't nobody gonna punk me. Nobody gonna play me. I'm a handle mine. Anybody run up on me, I'm gonna deal with it. Yeah, that get you props in the world, but it get you destruction with the Most High. You understand? What else?
It will never be quenched till it be consumed.
It's never gonna be quenched. These people who live on their emotions and their anger, that's making our decision, is never going to be quenched. Our men that's living on this anger, they mad at the world, they mad at their mama, they mad at their dad, they mad at their wife, they mad at everybody, they mad, and the two destinations that most of them are leading to is jail and the graveyard. You got mothers right now here mad at their husbands. They're mad at their life. They're mad at their parents, and they just evil and wicked. And they don't change. They don't want to do nothing. You got women right now who got good men in their life, and they treating them like dirt just because they mad at a man from 15 years ago. It's never going to be quenched. Watch this. What else, Deke?
A fornicator in the body of his flesh.
Go ahead.
A fornicator in the body of his flesh will never cease till his kindled a fire.
Listen, a fornicator, it don't matter. You can tell them all day, I'm going to get it. They're never going to stop. Their whole life is driven by sex. Everything is driven by sex. Don't matter. They'll lose a job, they lose relationships, they lose good women, they lose good men, they lose relationship with their children. Anything for sex. Pastors are losing ministry for sex. Men are losing their families for sex. Losing jobs for sex. You understand? Watch this. And what else?
All bread is sweet to a whoremonger.
Read that again.
All bread is sweet to a whoremonger.
Read that again.
All bread is sweet to a whoremonger.
All bread is sweet to a whoremonger. Everybody looks good. To the whoremonger, every woman that walk by, every man that walk by, I gotta have it. All bread is sweet to the whoremonger. What else?
He will not leave off till he die.
He will not leave off it till he die. You understand? We talking about everybody else, but what about the enemy within? This is what we need to be concerned with, our own faults. You understand? Watch this. Verse 18.
A man that breaketh wedlock, saying thus in his heart, who seeth me?
Who seeth me?
I am compassed about with darkness, the walls cover me, and nobody seeth me. What need I to fear? The Most High will not remember my sin.
Most of our people, ladies and gentlemen, are not concerned with the Most High. They think their good works and the things they're doing in the church is going to outweigh what they're doing behind closed doors. The number one thing that many of our people is trying to keep up is a positive image amongst the people. When you go into the world, that's how the world, this is the reason why, ladies and gentlemen, is why the world does not give no merit to the Christian church. Because in the world, they know the Christians. You understand? See, in the church, Christians don't bring their business out amongst everybody else in the church. But they're at the liquor houses. They're in the clubs. They're at the bar. They're at the little private groups, rooms in the cities and stuff like that. You see them cutting through the blocks in the hood, picking up the prostitutes and going to Susie house at 2 o'clock in the morning and all that. The hood know. The streets know. You understand? But see, in the church, you just see the pocket squares and the matching socks. You just see the beautiful long dress and the hair wrap. You just see the great speeches and the great powerful sermons and the sweat and the jumping up on the stairs. You see the great songs and you see the great prayers. But in the streets, they see it all. So what most people are concerned with is not living righteous. It's pretending, it's keeping an image of righteousness before the people. Understand? That's what people are more concerned is. And so because they think, okay, as long as people don't know, I'm good, right? So then, but when it comes to the Most High, they'll say, hey, I got some works, so he ain't gonna remember my sin, right? Well, look at this. Look what it said here, verse 14. Where we at, D? Verse 19.
Such a man only feareth the eyes of man.
Read that again.
Such a man only feareth the eyes of man.
Read that again.
Such a man only feareth the eyes of men.
He only fears the eyes of men because his only concern is pleasing people. He ain't pleasing the Most High. You see what I'm talking about? Y'all understand what I'm saying? See, my dad said a long time ago, he said, man, listen, the way these people out here living, the way these pastors and preachers is preaching, and the madness, they can't believe the Bible. And I was like, man, you know what, Dad, you're right. It's impossible for them to believe the Bible because if they knew the Bible, they knew what was coming to false prophets and teachers. It would be impossible for them to continue in that madness, actually believing the Bible, because you wouldn't do this if you believed it. These people who call themselves Christians, ladies and gentlemen, and even our Israelite brothers and sisters, you ain't getting no G-Pass either. You're more concerned with you're more concerned with people thinking you're somebody versus for the Most High knowing that you're doing right. Read it again, Dickie says what?
Such a man only feareth the eyes of man.
They only fear the eyes of man. So long as man don't know, hey, I'm straight. But what?
And not knoweth that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun.
Read that again.
And not knoweth that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun.
10,000 times brighter than the sun. We ain't escaping from nothing from the Most High. Okay? Just because people don't know, that doesn't mean that the Most High don't. See, we're more concerned about what people think about us. You better be more concerned with what the Most High know about you. You understand? Watch this. And what else?
Beholding all the ways of men and considering the most secret parts.
Verse 20.
He knew all things ever they were created. So also after they were perfected, he looked upon them all.
He said, listen, I knew you was going to do it before I created it. That's powerful. He didn't know how we say, yeah, he knew what you was going to say before you said it. No, he knew what you was going to say before you was created. Wow. Selah. Okay. Most High ain't, we won't catch them off guard with nothing. He counted every hair on your head before you had a head. You understand? Shabbat shalom, Mimi. Good seeing you on with us tonight. So we need to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that we got to defeat the enemy within and stop worrying about people. You understand? Stop worrying about what people going to say. You rather worry about what the Most High going to say when you stand before him. You understand? Because there's a lot of people had 3, 4, 5 hour funerals and nothing but goodness was said about them. But when they got up to the Most High, it was very quick. Depart from me. So do you want long speeches from people or short speech from the Most High? Because he's going to say, depart from me. That's a short one. I want the well done, thou good, thou faithful servant. You were faithful with a few things. Come on up and I'm going to make you rule over many. That's the long speech. The short one is, depart from me. No talk, no grace, no conversation. You understand? Verse 21.
This man shall be punished in the streets.
He shall be what?
This man shall be punished in the streets of the city where he suspected not, he shall be taken.
That's what it was. All these little pastors you see being brought down before you right now, sitting here telling you that grace and that hope, the same ones that were telling you that madness and taking all of your money, the Most High is pulling the covers back. Now you see them. I don't need to call them names. You know we don't do that here. It is what it is. Tonight's lesson is titled, Defeating the Enemy Within. Now I want to end off with one last enemy that we're dealing with here. And let's go to 1 Timothy, the 6th chapter. That money. That money. We got a lot of things that we could have went into tonight. But I want to deal with something that we overlook often. And that is money. I have been clowned, me and Deke has been clowned over the years for what they call preaching for free. Shia told us, free do you ever receive, free do you give. I'm only just doing what my master said, but I don't know what God you follow that told you to charge honorariums. I don't know. Maybe your God says do honorariums. My God said, free do you receive, free do you ever receive, free do you ever receive, free do you ever give. So I get clowned a lot about that. Man, you going there and doing all that preaching and you ain't getting no money. You ain't coming up. That's why you're struggling now. Am I? Am I struggling? I mean, listen, man, I done did a lot of things and the Most High has always received the glory. How many people is your church feeding? Last time somebody got saved, healed, delivered. But you get an honorarium every week, right? You get an honorarium where you go, so what are they paying you for? I mean, I'm just asking the question. What are you actually getting paid for? What is your anniversary about? About what? What are you celebrating? Me? How many anniversaries we had, D? Y'all got an anniversary plan for me coming up?
Nah.
What about a Pastor A program? You got one coming up for me? Go ahead and cancel that. Shy, if you got a Pastor A program coming up, go ahead and cancel that. Okay. Now, I think I'm being funny, but I'm not. I'm just being serious here. we get clowned about that, and then these preachers who live on this money thing, they go out and tell you this and make money the emphasis of your life, because a broke congregation can't give them no money. Okay, they need you as rich as possible, and so this is one of the things that is dealing with this. Just our people are struggling with, because as you come into you go out of the God of Christianity into the Most High, many of you are losing some things, and because Christianity teaches you that your money and your possessions is a sign of the blessing. Well, the Jewish people, ladies and gentlemen, are the richest people in the world. Give them Revelation 3 and 9 right quick. Give them Revelation 2 and 9, and just give them Revelation 3 and 9. There's no one in the world have more money than the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the top Jewish leaders of this world. And the Christian church is telling you that it's the blessing of Abraham. Don't you believe it? Okay? Because the Most High never said that the children of Israel will be rich and own all the banks and real estate of the world. He never said that. He said in Jeremiah 30, we were going through Jacob's trouble running for our lives. Isn't that what's happened to the so-called black man? He said in Deuteronomy 28 that the Gentiles will be in our land and in our communities, and they will be one rich in our community, and we'll be struggling. Is that not what happened? Our women can't go get to the house stores without going to the Gentiles. You can't go get a loan without going to the Gentiles. They own the convenience stores. They own the grocery stores. They own the Walmarts. Everything that is owned by the Gentiles. That's what the Most High said would happen to his people in the last days. Not that they will own all the banks and be ruling the world. Let me tell you what Yeshaya said what the Jewish people will be doing. Revelation 3 and 9.
Behold, I'll make them of the synagogue of Satan.
Of the who?
The synagogue of Satan.
Uh-huh.
Which say they are Jews and are not.
And are not.
But do lie.
But do lie.
Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee.
Love who?
I have loved thee.
What? Give them verse 10 right quick.
Because thou hast kept the word of my patience.
Uh-huh.
And I'll also keep thee from the hour of temptation.
So we're living in that hour of temptation, where the devil is opened up many doors for you to go and get money, many doors for you to be a celebrity, many doors for you to be famous. And our people with an I'm a Christian t-shirt on is running through them, naming and claiming all the way. You understand? Now that's not saying, because we're going to deal with that at the very end in 1 Timothy about having money. So don't get caught up in that madness either. That's just as wicked of saying that Jesus was poor. That's wicked too. That you can't have no money. But we need to understand we need money to be in its rightful place. The Bible says that money answers all problems too. You can't do the work if you ain't got no money. But those as elders, we call to preach this gospel. You don't need to be worried about money at all. You understand? So I just wanted to put that out there. That don't get caught up in this madness that they're teaching on TV and the Daystar. When they roll these Jewish cats out and they tell you, listen, this is the sign of the blessing of Abraham. That don't match what the Bible said that the children of Israel will be dealing with in the last days. I just want to make that clear before we get into this thing with the money as we're getting off here tonight of defeating the enemy within. 1 Timothy 6, verse 1.
Let as many servants as are under the yoke count their own masters worthy of all honor. Let the name of God and his doctrine be not blasphemed.
So he said, listen, what you should be doing, ladies and gentlemen, is as your teachers, as the preachers, the pastors, you should honor them and take care of them. You should be providing for them. But I'm talking to my pastors. You should not have a salary. When you go preach, you should not have an honorarium. You're not supposed to be having no set anniversaries. You ain't supposed to be guilting your people into doing all these pastor aid programs. You understand? That's not the scriptures. that is hustles. You understand? Listen, I have never had any of them things, yet somehow, some way, people are always taking care of me. People send me money all the time. I've been in situations when I've been going through, and you ain't never seen us do no PayPal account. You ain't never seen us do no Cash App on here. You ain't never seen us do no GoFundMe pages. And every time we have a need, do they not send the cash? Somehow, some way. Because the Spirit of the Lord will touch the people and they will give. I was in a real tough situation last year. And one of the people that be with us just said, yo, the Lord told me to do this for you. And it was the exact amount that I needed. Was it not me? Yeah. I ain't say nothing to nobody. I didn't even tell my deacon. You understand? And it was the exact amount that I needed. So I'm not saying that the pastors shouldn't be taken care of. When you make it a mandate in the 75, you pay tithes off the 10, that's 85. You take another 10 and you save it. It's like I said it backwards. You save 10%, and then the 5% is you giving just offerings and giving to the poor, stuff like that. That needs to be your monthly budget every month. Some people are living off 100% of their money. You got your bills. That means everything coming in got to come out. That's why there's no growth. Then some of you ain't sowing, you ain't giving nothing. So you ain't got no seeds that's going to sprout up. And stop letting people, these preachers, give you this madness of you got to sow in good ground. And so, nah, they ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Okay. Okay. Proverbs 19:17 says, he that's given to the poor, lend to the Lord, and he shall repay thee. Well, some of you ain't gave no money to the poor, so you can't never come to the Most High for anything, because you ain't never gave nothing to nobody. You understand? Now, give them Philippians 4, and give them, start at verse 15.
Now ye Philippians know also that in the beginning of the gospel, when I departed from Macedonia, no church communicated with me as concerning giving and receiving, but ye only. So he said, listen, he telling the church of Philippi, he said, listen, when I went to Macedonia, you was the only people that gave. Now, I know I'm putting the cart before the horse. I'm going to get a spoiler alert here, what you're going to see in verse 19. Is a very popular verse here that people like to quote in the Christian church. But I started at verse 15 to let you know that he was only talking to the church of Philippi. If you are not doing this, Philippians 4:19 is not talking to you. I want to make that clear. So he says, listen, not when I was doing the work with you did you give. You did that. But it was when I went somewhere else is when you gave. Also, verse 16. Or even in Thessalonica, when you sent once and again unto my necessity.
So not only when I went to Macedonia, but then when I went over to Thessalonica, you gave money over there. Not once, but twice. See that? They weren't just taking care of Paul when he was with them. They was making sure Paul had it as he was doing the work for others. This is why at the Better Day Ministries, when we were doing Liberation Tour, we would do what we call giving on purpose. We never took up an offering at the beginning or in the middle when everybody was there. Did we not do? Never did that. Everything that people got, they got for free. We preached, sang, ministered, prayed, gave everything to them. They would look back there in the dining room, the food would already be laid out, and we would tell them, listen, everything you got here was for free. Now, when you sow this, you're sowing so that when we go to the next city, they can get what you just got here for free. So it don't make a difference if you gave or not. You understand? So Paul said, listen, you were the only church that got something, that gave me something when I was with you, and you was giving when I went over here, and when I was get over there. Let me ask you a question, ladies and gentlemen. With your money, are you doing that? Are you helping others get this gospel? Or is it just about you? You understand? Verse, what we at? Verse 17. Watch this.
Not because I desire a gift,
I'm not saying this because I desire to give. I'm not breaking this out because I desire to give. But he said, what?
but I desire fruit that may abound to your account.
To who?
To your account.
To your account. When you give to men of the Most High who are doing the work, not just a preacher, but to people who are doing the work, that bounds fruit to your account. But they have to be doing the work of this. You understand? That's the difference. Verse 18.
But I have all and abound. I am full, having received of Epaphroditus the things which were sent from you, an odor of sweet smell, a sacrifice acceptable, well pleasing to God.
So he said, listen, when you brought all that stuff to me, man, it just blessed me. And that what you gave to me, even though it blessed me, that savor, that sacrifice went up to the Most High. And then this is the prayer that he prayed for that church, for those members who did that. Verse 19.
But my God shall supply all your needs.
All your needs.
According to his riches and glory by Christ Yeshua.
You see that? Y'all see that? So, ladies and gentlemen, back to 1 Timothy 6, because we're bringing this to a close. You got to make sure that when it comes to this money thing, you're doing the work with what the Most High is giving you. Now, back to 1 Timothy 6, verse 1. So they can get, so now with all of that, now tap into this.
Let as many servants as are under the yoke count their own masters worthy of all honor, that the name of God and his doctrine be not blasphemed.
See, one of the reasons, ladies and gentlemen, that people are, the Christian church is suffering is because these pastors got to go to work every day. They got to work 40, 50 hours a week on the job because the people won't take care of them. They're like, man, Pastor, man, he ain't really bringing today. He tired. My pastor used to get off of work Sunday morning at 7 o'clock, come teach Sunday school and preach. That's a shame. That's a shame that he had to do that. These pastors do all this stuff. They ain't got no life insurance, ain't got no health insurance, ain't got nothing. And if I see another fool post on this, we're going to start bringing some corn and some wheat and barley down there for the tithes and offerings, then why don't you tell your boss to pay you in that too then? Foolishness. But to go to the club and drop thousands of dollars in the club. Go to a strip club and throw money in the club. Madness. Verse 2.
And they that have believing masters, let them not despise them, because they are their brethren, but rather do them service, because they are faithful and beloved, partakers of the benefit. These things teach and exhort.
So they not only that with Timothy, he says, listen, also, for you who got jobs, who your masters are believers, don't be on there trying to look at the hookups. Hey, brother, we in the truth, man. We all Israelite, bro. Hey, you got to look out for me. Nah. Don't extort your brothers and sisters just because they in the truth or they believe. When you go down to their businesses, take care of them. Solicit their businesses. You know what I'm saying? When you work hard, especially you got a believer that's your supervisor, you should go harder for them. Don't take your money for granted. Don't think you're supposed to get a handout, not just because your brother or your sister is your supervisor. No, that's not the way it works. And he said, these things you teach, he told Timothy, you teach them and you exhort them. Verse 3.
If any man teach otherwise and consent not to the wholesome words, even the words of our Lord Yeshua the Christ, and to do doctrine which is according to godliness, he is proud.
He is what?
He is proud, knowing nothing, but doting about questions and strifes of words, whereof cometh envy, strife, railings, and evil surmisings.
And this is what's going on right now in the Christian church. Because this madness of this prosperity teaching and all these things are being taught. So then you got these pastors out here, these people bringing this money landing at their feet. And then now, thank you, Sean. And then you got these people laying this money at their feet. And then now they thinking, because I don't got that, I got to go teach and do what they do, so somebody will do that for me. And that ain't what it's about. That's why the envy and that's all the strife is, because everybody try to be what they see somebody else do. When that's not what these things supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about the work. And when you teach this madness and when you put these things on social media and on the internet for people to see, you had a brother up there talking about he went to heaven and took pictures on his cell phone and was selling the pictures for $5,000 and people were buying it. You understand? Verse 5.
Perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds and destitute of the truth.
They're destitute of the truth.
Supposing that gain is godliness.
Supposing what?
Supposing that gain is godliness, from such withdraw thyself.
From such withdraw thyself. They're thinking because they're getting money that is evidence of godliness, and it's not. And now you got that voice inside of you saying, man, I should have that car by now, man. I should have that house by now, man. Something ain't right. I ain't doing something right. No, you're doing what's right. You haven't sold your soul for the cash. You ain't caught up in this Babylon system. Because I'm telling you right now, in a very, very short time, unless you take that mark of the beast, it's all going away anyway. You understand? But that's another lesson for another time. But look at what he said here, verse 6.
But godliness with contentment is great gain.
But what?
But godliness with contentment is great gain.
That's the great gain. Verse 7.
But we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out.
Right, verse 8.
And having food and raiment, let us be therewith content.
Let us be content with that. The Most High got clothes on your back and you got some food to eat, you're blessed. Don't let nobody tell you no different. Because I'm telling you right now, especially for those that are in America, poverty in America is not the poverty of the world. The people of the world ain't got no EBT card. They ain't got no food banks. They ain't got no social security check and disability checks. No handouts, nothing. So don't you ever let nobody tell you that you ain't blessed if you ate a meal today and you got clothes on your back. You blessed. Don't you never let nobody tell you no different. If you ain't sold your soul, if you ain't sinned, if you stand true to the Most High and you ate today, you good. Don't you ever let nobody tell you no different. Defeating the enemy within. Verse 9.
But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and to many foolish and hurtful lusts, which draw men in destruction and perdition.
Now read that again so I can make that clear.
But they that will be rich.
So see, he's not saying people with money that are rich. It's they that will to be rich. Their desires to be rich. Their whole drive and the whole purpose in life is to be rich. There ain't nothing wrong with getting money. We're going to show you this in a minute and when we end off this lesson. It ain't nothing wrong with getting money and having money and being able to do nice things for your family. Don't misunderstand what we're saying here. He said those who desire to be rich, those who will to be rich. He said what else?
But they that will to be rich fall into temptation.
They fall into temptation.
And a snare.
And a snare.
And into many foolish and hurtful lusts.
Right.
Which draw men in destruction and perdition.
Mm-hmm.
For the love of money is the root of all evil.
Nah, man, having money is the root of all evil.
For the love of money is the root of all evil.
Uh-huh.
Which while some coming after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows.
That's what happened. It's the love of the money. Not the money. It's the love of the money, which is the root of all evil. Now, let's close this out. Let's go down to verse 17. Now, for those of you who have money, for those of you who have nice accounts, for those of you who are well off, Paul also gives the instruction for what you're supposed to do as well. Verse 17.
Charge them that are rich.
Charge them on who?
Charge them that are rich.
So that lets you know right there, deep. They want no problem having money. Because Paul specifically said, now for those who got this money, you do what?
Charge them that are rich in this world that they may not high-minded nor trust in uncertain riches.
Trust in what?
Uncertain riches.
Uh-huh.
But in the living God,
right,
who giveth us richly all things to enjoy.
And ladies and gentlemen, what you saw, what Trump did early part of this year is a preview of what is to come. Trump and his wickedness has exposed our people, this world, and mostly in this country, devotion to money. Because as soon as a few paychecks left, people showed what their trust was in. Read that first part of that verse again. He said what?
Charge them that are rich in this world that they may not be high-minded.
Not be high-minded.
No trust in uncertain riches.
No trust in uncertain riches. Listen, man, you had people all on social media. You had people on TV. I'm talking about, man, they was on there crying. I'm talking about, like, man, we ain't gonna be able to take this vacation. Man, I'm not gonna be able to, keep this car that I wanted. I seen one woman on there crying, talking about she wasn't gonna be able to give her kids the birthday party that they want. I'm talking about breaking down over things that regular people, they weren't even concerned with, because that's not even a part of their lives. So I'm telling you right now, for my peoples who got money, that are well off, praise the Most High. But you better not put your trust in that money. And especially right now when we're in America. Because soon and very soon, there's going to be some decisions that you're going to have to make, whether you keep it or not. And you're going to you better be willing to depart from everything. From everything. Verse 18.
That they do good and that they be rich in good works, ready to distribute.
Ready to do what?
Ready to distribute, willing to communicate.
That's what your focus need to be on. You need to be ready to contribute and willing to help those in need. Not talking about you being a sucker. Not talking about you, you know what I'm saying, running to give every little dime every time somebody got some problems. But you better be rich in good works. You better do what you need to do and take care and help people out and further this gospel. Verse 19.
Laying up in store for themselves a good foundation against the time to come, that they may lay hold on eternal life.
You better put the works in. Because the Most High is not going to ask you what you did. He's going to ask you, did you do what I told you to do? Tonight's lesson is entitled, Defeating the Enemy Within. Defeating the enemy within. Tonight, we'd like to give all praise and honor to Ahaya Bahashem Yeshaya, where we walk. For those of you not familiar with the Hebrew, that is all praise unto the Most High in the name of Christ, as well as the Holy Spirit, for everything that came forth here today. We'd like to thank each and every one of you for taking time and being with us tonight. We pray and hope that something was said here that was empower you and inspire you and inspire you to go forth and do what thus says the Most High. We pray that you understand, ladies and gentlemen, this is a constant war, and the war is that we're fighting, most importantly, is the war that's on the inside. We must defeat the enemy within. Once again, next week, there will not be a Sabbath lesson. We're starting to transition out of that. We're going to have some discussions about starting up what we talked about with Transformation Tuesdays. We're going to talk about that. So I'll announce that if we decide to do that. But for those who are in the Charlotte area, the Monroe area, the Anson County area, the Stanley County area, and those in South Carolina, area, we ask that you join us next Saturday at 12 o'clock at Sutton Park Center. That is 2303 Brook Street in Monroe, North Carolina. And we're going to have our first congregational meeting. We're thanking the Most High for that. We're going to come out, we're going to have a lesson, and we're going to fellowship, and we're going to have some nice food. So we're asking anybody who wants to come out to go to the link at the top of the first part of the lesson and click on there that you're going. If you have a number of people coming with you, let us know. If you don't feel like going back into the top of the link, you see on here, you'll see Judah Culture. Click on her, hit her up in the inbox, or click on me, inbox me, and we'll do whatever we can to make sure we get you there. Okay? That's once again, that address is 2303 Brook Street in Monroe, North Carolina. That's the Southern Park Center. That is next Saturday at 12 o'clock. So we're really excited about that. And like I said, on the following Sabbath, we're going to be in High Point, and I will make sure I do an announcement of that. Going to be down there with Brother Anthony Douglas at 7 Harvest Ministries down there in High Point, North Carolina. We're really excited about the work that Most High is doing. We thank each and every one of you for being with us. We thank you for your prayers. For all those who have sown into the ministry, we thank God for you. For those who helped and supported these feast days, those who volunteered and sold, all that, it could not have been done without you. We give praise to the Most High, Barak Atah, for your continued laboring in this gospel. Dick, you got anything? So once again, as we always say, continue to be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding to the work of the Most High. We want you to know that we love you. Barak Atah, Kwam Yasharala. As the sun go down tomorrow, we end off the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Continue to do that soul searching, that eternal spring cleaning. Know that we're here for you. 12 tribes.
12 tribes. What you know about the 12 tribes? 12 tribes. My people are waking up. Why? I know you don't like it. Yeah, we taking them early tracks.
And we're making them righteous.
Okay, my nation turn for the Most High. We be getting it done. They asking me what I be rapping 11 plus 1, and I just wanna go back to the motherland, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, with my Mashpakata, see the Shem. Hey, look alive, talking Yah, he's alive. I get confirmation every time I walk and go outside. Oh Lord, not from Alabama,
but I roll tide.
I'm from Cleveland, baby.
I'm a Buckeye.
What gave me laws? I just tell them
Right.
rise, never die, and we fly. 12 tribes, look alive.
Barak Atah, man. We love each and every one of you. Shalom.
We the rise, hit the street and prophesy. On the rise, never die, and we fly. 12 tribes. My people waking up, and my people waking up.